Iraqi prisoner, saying the move amounted to a presidential endorsement of a murder. Trump granted the pardon late Monday to Michael Bahena, an Oklahoma man who was sentenced to 15 years in 2009 for killing Ali Mansur Muhammad, a suspected al-Qaeda operative who was stripped naked for questioning before being shot. Bahena had long argued he acted in self-defense. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter had petitioned the White House for the pardon. Bahena was paroled in 2014 after serving less than 5 years of his sentence. Mansur was questioned in connection with a roadside bomb that killed 2 soldiers. The Free Thought Project points out the irony that Trump pardons a murderer while allowing Julian Assange to rot in prison. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues, with news reports focusing on recent deaths in Israel and Gaza. It's valuable to enlarge the time period being examined. Israeli soldiers have been shooting Gaza men, women, and children every week over the past year. Minpress News reports Israeli forces have killed approximately 290 Gazans and have injured over 29,000 since they began their weekly Great March of Return protests on March 30th. A few additional Gazans died during the time period from earlier wounds inflicted by Israeli forces. Among those killed and maimed have been medics, women, children, and journalists. Approximately 126 Gazans have had legs and/or arms amputated, and others have been permanently paralyzed. While Israeli governmental statements, often parroted by U.S. media, claim that Israel targets terror, the large majority of Gazans killed by Israeli forces have been civilians. During the same time period, Gazan resistance fighters have killed 6 Israelis, one of them Palestinian. It's difficult to provide a number for Israelis wounded during the time, since Israeli statistics for the injured include those suffering from panic attacks. The Saudi-led coalition kidnapped more than 170 Yemeni fishermen and seized their boats while they were fishing near the port city of Hodeidah this past week. To demonstrate clearly that they pose no threat, the fishermen hung large white flags on the back of their boats and waved fish in the air as coalition military vessels approached their boats. Mohammed al-Hassani, head of the Forum of Tahama Fishermen, told Minpress News that, all told, 174 fishermen and 10 boats were abducted by Saudi-led forces. After a ceasefire agreement for the port city of Hodeidah was reached in Sweden late last year, thousands of fishermen decided to take their small boats into deeper waters off of Hodeidah's coast, but have faced arrest or even been the target of airstrikes by the Saudi-led coalition. Meanwhile, the families of the kidnapped fishermen organized a protest, asking the coalition to release their loved ones. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting with the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A cool guy from middle school is still sporting his fat pair of Jinkos. A stunned St. Peter's Square crowd hears the Pope getting bitched out by God, and an 8th grader caked in makeup is probably really confident. This is The Onion Week in Review. This week, a Pew Research Center poll found that the vast majority of Americans would watch a television show called Love Trap, with most saying that regardless of the show's genre or quality, they would tune in weekly to see its stars stumble into romantic triangles, double-cross one another, and contend with whatever the titular love trap refers to. The survey confirmed that 62% of Americans would likely watch Love Trap to see a shrewd but cold-hearted Southern belle named Tammy. 23% of the nation hoped the show would be referred to as The Trap by its most loyal fans, and 15% of respondents said they simply needed something to watch. And in this week's science news, a biologist completes a 5-minute study of the pathetic organism in his mirror. In other news, a man confidently hits send on the worst job application a company has ever seen.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. We're unafeared here and declare your independence. I'm Ernest Hancock here in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, from the BEAU default studios of Phoenix.com. Okay, good day. Sounds like it's all clearing up my throat and everything. It's going to get some. All right, we're going to be talking to Chris Duane here in the first hour. GoldenStateMint.com. The truth never told on YouTube. Well, at least this week. We'll see what's going on with YouTube with him. And the second hour, we got Amin Rafi. I make sure I say that name right now. We've had him on before, and we talked about peer-to-peer communications, economics, IPFS, privacy, and so on. And I said, hey, man, you sound like the guy. Get me some banner ads. We'll promote your stuff. And then it's like a month and a half later, I get it, and I'm like, we're going to talk to you again because I don't remember, so we're going to get all caught up with where I'm in. So then we have Tim Pachote in the third hour. He was at some conference last week and so on, so we get to hear all about that. And we've been yakking about some other stuff that's going on, and man, stuff is going on. That's why I like having me some Freedom's Phoenix, so you have the chronology for the past 15 plus years of exactly in every category of what's happening. You can see it. And if you do the Wayback Machine, you go into the N archives, you go to contents by subject, and you go back to housing or the economics or Federal Reserve or any of these things. You go back, and what do you see? 10 years. 10 years from now. You go back 10 years, and it's exactly the same headlines from the same people doing the same crap. Well, a lot of that, was Chris. I remember Chris was about, God, wasn't it like 10 years ago? It had to be like 9 or something like that we did this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chris Duane.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Is best known for his YouTube channel, The Truth Never Told, with over 31 million views and 150,000 subscribers until. Then he also designs and sells his own brand of silver called Silver Shield that is available exclusively over at the GoldenStateMint.com. Every week he has a new 1 week only mini mintage design that comes with a certificate of authenticity and sells for as low as $2 over spot. Totally different from all the other government silver on the market today. And has a lot of clever designs, which might be what kind of gets him in trouble with the man. So you're having an experience with YouTube. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I did a 40-minute documentary, and it wasn't really a documentary. It's just all the evidence that I've been putting together talking about how, this current order, the way that I see it, is the Anglo-American Zionist banking cabal that owns and controls the paradigm. I call it the debt and death empire. Death to any country that opposes us, which is evident with all the multiple wars and incursions and coups and all the stuff that the United States is causing all over the world, and debt to everybody underneath. And I just put up a video yesterday talking about how this debt is, it doesn't seem to be a problem until it is. So just as a typical person, if they start accruing a lot of credit card debt, it's fun going into it. You can have a lot of fun spending a lot of money, but at some point those debts need to be paid back, or else the debt becomes so large that you can't even pay the interest on it. Well, the United States is now paying close to $1 trillion a year just in interest on the debt into the onto the debt. And this is while we have historically low interest rates. We haven't had another financial crisis. We're not in any major wars, and we're spending close to another $1 trillion on the military-industrial complex. So yeah, I mean, I basically put together a video talking about how this paradigm, as it stands, cannot go on forever. And there's 3 major threats that I see to it, to the current order. Number one, the unsustainable global generational debt-based fiat Ponzi scheme that they have created, that they profited off of, and they're going to want to blame the collapse on it onto something else other than the men that own and control and profit off of this system. So I would look to see an economic sort of false flag where, if the stock market crashes, they want to point their finger to, I don't know, China or Iran or Russia or anybody else other than the fact that we built up this fractional reserve Ponzi bubble, for over these generations, and that it has to collapse. The second threat that I see is the rising military threat from China, Russia, Iran. I call them the anti-hegemon because they're not intellectually aligned, but they stand in stark opposition to the current world order, which they do not benefit from. So you see the military tensions in Venezuela, which the United States is actively participating in plotting a coup there. You see the Chinese straits, where Navy's sailing through what China considers territorial waters. And then most indefinitely is the threat that's going on in Iran with the USS Abraham Lincoln going there. So that's a military threat, an economic threat. And the final one is where you and I fit into this, the information threat. They cannot have truth get out. And that's what's going on with all these major social networks. They're demonetizing, shadow banning, outright deleting channels. And that's what I'm facing. And, while
the video that you think that started... Chris, the video, I'm showing the audience here, your channel and so on. The video that you were talking about that you did that you think kind of started this, what was it called? Which one is it?
That the next world order starts May 2nd, and it was about Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, who is a former CIA director, so he's part of the cabal. Stated on May 2nd that the United States was no longer going to extend 180-day waivers to all countries importing oil from Iran, which included China, Korea, Japan, and all these other things. And the United States has, through sanctions, cut Iranian exports of oil, which is their main driving economic thing, in half, and that this 180-day waiver would essentially make it illegal for Iran to export any oil. Which is an economic attack. It's the same thing that we did with Japan. We goaded them into attacking us because we banned oil sales to Japan. We banned steel sales to them, and essentially caused economic pressure to them to force them to do Pearl Harbor. And as most people who get it now know, that we already cracked Japan's code. We knew that they were coming, and we wanted to goad them into war. And so the video I put up to is basically putting all these clips together. I mean, this is not, unknown. I mean, I got John McCain, I got Seymour Hersh, a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, talking about Dick Cheney in the final days of his tenure, looking to plot a false war with Iran by creating our own Iranian PT boats and putting American soldiers on it and causing them to go attack our ships so we can blame Iran and then go attack them. I got General Wesley Clark, 2 years after 9/11, talking about how the Pentagon has plans of overthrowing 7 Middle Eastern countries within 5 years, ending with Iran. They want Iran, and they were trying to get it because that's one of the last nations that don't have a Rothschild-owned central bank. Their form of Muslim worship, the Shia and the battle that's going on there, it benefits our ally, the tyrannical Saudi Arabia, with their barbaric beheading of teenage bloggers because of the threat that they have there. So I put together all these videos out there, and it was flagged by the YouTube community, which who knows, whatever that is. They then took the comments out of it, and then they can't share it, and now most people can't even see it.
Now, did you recognize each one of these stages of activity that they did? I mean, were you able to see that they did the comments and they did the sharing thing? And there's so many different, and you go, yep, here it comes.
First thing they do is demonetize it. so I can't make any money off of any advertising. And I get that. Okay, fine. I'm a big boy. I don't need to.
All right,
more
Chris Duane when we come back.
Of Captain Mark.
Landlubbers are conditioned to believe that the originators of an idea deserve exclusive rights to it, but these innovators are nothing but privateers, granted a monopoly by the Crown. Potential inventors are restricted from using their own property and forced to navigate a wilderness of prohibited ideas. These pattern monopolies are intellectual colonization. This alliance of means between the Crown and the privateers is not an alignment of ends. Both collude to establish a permission culture, in which everyone second-guesses their own thoughts, never sure which ideas are permissible to develop. But their objectives are different. The Crown aims to cripple dissenting opinion, while privateers will only be satiated when all new ideas already fall under their monopoly. This scheme does not protect our information, but seizes it and denies us access. The future belongs to individuals who think, speak, and act freely to create and share without reservation. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians.
Okay, the one video, what I'm looking at is your Truth Never Told, and what I want to do is I want to embed a couple of the videos into today's archive. So which one is that?
It was the...
Or how long ago was it?
1 week ago, Exposed. The next New World Order starts May 2nd. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. Nobody can comment on it. But it's a 40-minute video.
Okay, I'm looking at in your videos in order, and it's I got
probably like the 7th one down or 8th one down.
Okay,
1,
all right.
2, 3.
And what's the name of it? What's it called?
Exposed. The next New World Order starts May 2nd.
Exposed a month ago. Exposed.
No, a week ago.
All right, a week ago. Okay, I got.
And as a
Minxie
follow-up,
moment, USS Lincoln, Black Swans all around, the next financial crisis, Black Swan, information false flag, historical case for silver. I hate Disney's Avengers. The next New World Order starts May 2nd. Okay.
That one.
All right, got it. Oh!
But as a follow-up to
You've
that...
been so not allowed. I understand and wish to proceed, be inappropriate or offensive. What?
Yeah, and you watch it, like, I'm not... I don't know. It's obvious that they don't want that exposed. And that's the sick thing, like, you know, here I am trying to prevent war and death, and, you know, by exposing this stuff, and it's not, I mean, it's like an alternate reality. Like, why would people not want that happening unless they're profiting off of it?
Well, yeah, no, I want to, I'm going to make a big deal out of this when we come back. I want to show this, because it's, you're not the only one, of course. I mean, this has been getting stupid. Of course.
Yeah. But the follow-up video is the New York Times information false flag. So the day after I did that, because I make a distinction between, you know, Jews and Zionists. I said not all Zionists are Jews and not all Jews are Zionists. I said this is not a racial thing at all. I said this is the idea that, you know, there's people out there who think that they own and control the world. So I did and I made a distinction about Zionism, particularly about it. And then New York Times the very next day runs two, you know, supposedly anti-Zionist cartoons, and you know they're Jewish.
There's no
and
here.
So
right, we're coming back. Let's talk about it on air.
They attack themselves and then say that I'm part of the problem.
On air. Here we go.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show, where we're going. There aren't any roads.
Okay, guys, I want to show you this. What's happening is you want to see banning and shadow banning, progressive banning the bands and the banning of the bands. You know, this is how it happens, okay? I want you guys to see how this is done. You look at his channel. Here we are. The greatest truth never told on Truth Never Told on YouTube. And you go to the channels, and there's all the channels. He's got a bunch of videos. We first started, man, it had to be no later than 9, 10, 11. So it's been almost a decade that we've known each other and talked about this stuff and done great videos. There's a lot of stuff, and of course, it's silver. And you know, why is it still so low? I don't know, because God likes me, and so I can buy more. So this is sooner or later, I mean, it's going to go, man. There's no doubt in my mind, but that's fine. I just, I go, God, man, I hope it doesn't go before. Woo! I got some money. I get to buy more. Yay! So this is how I'm thinking about silver. The lower it is, the better. And I'm sorry. That's just how I see it, because I'm thinking, it's going to go stupid, and I want to have as much as possible I can afford now. Now, I do some crypto and based on certain techs and which ones that I get and so on, but, I know Chris he's not a crypto lover. So he has this one video right here. I just want you guys to see, they're watching the mainstream, the live stream here, exposed. The next new world order starts May 2nd. All right, well, that was the title of it. Now, I click on this, and it goes to here. And here it says, the following content has been identified by the YouTube community as inappropriate or offensive to some audiences. I understand and wish to proceed. Really? Now, underneath, what I wanted to do is I would take it and embed it in today's archive. Oh, I'm sorry. Certain features have been disabled for this video. In response to user reports, we have disabled some features such as comments, sharing, and suggested videos because the video contains content that may be inappropriate or offensive to some audiences, as determined by whom? Well, what did we find out last month or so? The Southern Poverty Law Center has like 14,000 people or something that are going through all this stuff, and they decide. And this is what we warned about years ago with YouTube Heroes and all this other crap that they were doing. This infrastructure was being set up, and mainly after Trump's election, they went in hyperdrive. So this is affected. Now, when you go in, you say, I understand and wish to proceed. Heck, especially. So I go in there, and then I can watch it. But I can't embed it, and it's a 40-minute video. So why do you think this was the one that, or did they say this was the one that did it?
Well, yeah, I mean, this particular one was, immediate because it started to go viral because it was so damning. And when people, I mean, unfortunately, you have to really work to get it. People can't share. But I got 25,000 views within 12 hours, which for me is amazing. I mean, if I get 10,000 views on any typical video over a week, that's great. But to get that much in that time period, because people were sharing it and be like, shit, this is a lot of damning information showing that these guys want war and they're going to profit off of it, and they're going to lie to the American people to blame a foreign country for their bloodthirst. And that's what this comes down to. This is a bloodthirst.
They've never done that before.
But I go through the USS Liberty, all these other things, what we've done to Iran. If for an average American to hate Iran, you're stupid. Because what we've done to those people, if I was Iranian, I'd be the exact same way. Yeah. 1953, we overthrew a democratically elected Mossadegh who wanted to renegotiate with British Petroleum because British Petroleum was taking 90 cents for every dollar of oil of profit out of Iran because of a deal that they made a while ago. And Mossadegh wanted to renegotiate for a 50-50 split. The oil producers get half, the Iranian people get the other half. And they overthrew him because of that. And then he put in this Shah, which was their puppet boy. And then I put it in a video where over time, even the Shah was like, yeah, the Zionists, they control too much. They're pushing around too many people. That they control the media. They control the United States government, and they're not doing it for their own benefit. And I talked about all these think tanks that are talking about, what if an Iranian submarine goes down? Maybe it doesn't come up again. They're trying to cause war. Seymour Hersh, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, was in a meeting with Dick Cheney when they were discussing the final months of Cheney's term there of creating a false flag, a casus belli, of creating their own, us building our own Iranian PT boat and putting Americans on it and attacking our own ship and blaming Iran. I mean, this is like out in the open, and yet this is what they want to do. So, geez, God forbid, somebody should actually say, hey, guys, if USS Lincoln sinks in the Persian Gulf, it might not be Iran, like that actually would be a kind of a dumb thing for Iran to do. They're much better off, dragging this out. But, I'm trying to warn people, like, whenever the next thing happens, don't look for whatever the United States government points the finger to. That's not the bad guy.
No, of course they've done this before. Hell, they always do this. This has been, like you were saying, since World War II and what happened with Japan and how we wanted to get into a war with them and on and on and on and on and on. And it's obvious now, and I think a lot of people see it now, but they're trying to get, which Democrats are going to. First off, they sit and they wait and see what Trump says about something because the Democrats want to know what they're going to be against, whatever he's for. I mean, it's kind of been weird that way. So wait, see what he says, and then we'll take the other position. And but being of peace, just not having war, that's not even an option. Well, if you look, we did a story that had different jurisdictions, countries, boundaries like Saudi Arabia and Iran and Venezuela and Russia and U.S., that kind of thing. It was the map by oil. How much proven reserves do they have? Well, the top of the list is Venezuela. Venezuela's like, I don't know, twice, Saudi Arabia or something. I mean, and then you got Russia and Iran and so all the Libya. So every one of the countries that you see, they got to die. They're the tyrant of and oil's not ours. It's all oil. It's oil. God, get over it. It's freaking oil. So who do they go after? Guys like you pointing this stuff out. We got James. All right, the audience already knows what I'm going to say. Blah, 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 bottom line. It's called, are you at a computer?
Me, no.
Okay. If you go into the show, at the top of it, you'll see we have what we call IPFS. Interplanetary File System is, a forever internet. You can't stop it, and there it is, and go get it. Well, what we did, we put Freeman's Phoenix and Pirates Without Borders. We developed the scripting to be able to do that. And because they're still working, anyway, we just did it. Well, what happened is James Corbett has the same problems as you, but he replatformed on a bunch of other things because 3 years ago, we've been having him on every couple of weeks for 3 years. He knew this was coming. So he's on the other platforms, but we got his entire, 400 gig videos, everything on interplanetary file sharing. We have it up forever and always now. You should think about doing the same thing because you're not going to have a platform with the kind of stuff that you say and them allowing you to say it. So you have to go somewhere else. We knew this was coming, and you and I have talked about it before.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world?
Yep. Okay. When you go, now you need to be online. What we did is you may have remember me talking about Made Safe. Made Safe was the promise that, they can't take it down, whistleblower and forever and always we can put it up. And what we did is we've been waiting on that. The problem is that they were trying to monetize the proof of storage, which is kind of a crypto thing, proof of storage of data, and proof of dissemination. I go, cool, that's a great idea. I'd be mining the crap out of that. I put all my stuff up, and everybody, whatever. Well, what happened was being able to do that and not game it, like, fake that you got it and then have robots accessing it and, whatever. They got to deal with that. So it's been holding it off. Well, the thing is, the technology for being able to store the data and it be on nodes that are already, tens of thousands out there that can't be, it's copies. It's like Napster, using a Firefox browser, okay? And it's a grandma just button. I put the links up here. They don't know the difference. Boom, they go, there's the data. Well, the thing is that once you do that, it can't go down because it's replicated all over all the time. Well, there's ways of pinning the files. You have your own IPFS computer, and we're doing it with 4 terabyte external hard drives and Raspberry Pis, okay? So for $200, you're done. And you got an old laptop, you're done. So we've been doing this already. Now, it's been out talking about for the past few years, but they haven't really come out with it because of the monetization. I don't care about that. I don't think your audience cares. Mine doesn't care. Couple $100, boom, we are the internet the way it used to be, bulletin boards back in the 90s, and they can't stop it. That's how I knew it was possible. It's just how you get the protocol. Well, we did it. Derek my IT guy's been screaming about it for a few years. We've been working on it, getting the back end set, and pulled the trigger. It's done. January, we turned on ourselves and James Corbett. We've been working with him because he took this stuff seriously. When we did it, all of a sudden now it works really fast. You click on it, boom, it's all there. Alex Jones, he gets into his problems. So now some of the guys, from there, and they have shared audience, and it's starting to, just in the last couple of weeks, people are going, oh my God, you guys did, yeah, we did it. What the hell you think? You guys are so worried about what YouTube and Facebook say. They go, well, we got to be a utility and we got to make them. And I go, screw them. What the hell are you wasting time with these guys for? Because the real data, the real internet, the Corbett, the Tragedy and Hope, the Freedom's Phoenix, the Luke Radowski, the We Are Change, Press for Truth, World Alternative Media, Derek Bro, Larkin Rose. All these guys, Chris Duane is the internet. That is the truth. That is, the century of enslavement. That is World War II conspiracy, World War I conspiracy. That is. So we did it. And I'm telling you, Chris, instead of yelling and screaming at these guys, they are not going to be your buddy ever.
No, I know that. Yeah, I have no illusions. I'm just enjoying the ride while I have it. I get 168,000 subscribers. If I go start something else, I'm going to have 1,000 again. This is just an opportunity. Yeah, no, and that's fine. But I think when my channel goes down, I'll start a podcast or I'll do something else. I don't care if it gets taken down. I know that I've built up.
The data is there. It transfers. We do scripts for Luke Radowski, and boom, now it's over here. Next.
Okay.
No, we'll talk about it. The audience, they've already heard it 5 billion times, every guy like you I have on. All right, here we go.
Around the clock, on the air, and online, this is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Okay, not only do they not want you to have the truth up there, they want to force the fake on you. First deep fake AI that can replicate people moving. You go on, and we've been covering this stuff, all kind of Photoshop stuff and different video and live feed or change the mouth of live. You're watching presidential debates, and you can have them saying anything in their own voice of doing kind of, it's just, it's bad. It's bad. You can't even believe what you see anymore. So all the stuff that we know that is good. Hey, it's recommended. Hey, they got hundreds of thousands of followers. Hey, we need to be over here. Hey, and where is it? We don't want it there because it doesn't serve our purposes, and we need World War III. You go, okay, well, we're over here now. Where's here? I don't know, right here. Click here. Now they'll come after that, and then they'll go ISPs, and they'll try and block, and you got to have a 1s and 0 permit and all this other stuff. So fine. You go to satellite-based, pirate CubeSat, kiss my butt. Then you go to, and this battle is always going on. But to depend on these platforms and then beg them or get some congressman, make them let me be on there. Shut up! I am so sick of your whining. All the people out there, the hell with them. Do the Buckminster Fuller thing. Create something better. Make them obsolete. Why are you so dependent on this stuff? Well, this is exactly what happens. So I got absolutely no sympathy other than to highlight it and go, yep, see, that's what they're doing. So when you do highlight it, you do a video on it, you do what they do with the economy and war and all this other stuff, of course they're going to stop it. You know what you think their job is. So, Chris, future. This is, you got some good stuff we can't have just go away. This perspective has got to stay out there. You got other plans?
No, I My goal to this is not to do this forever. My job is, in my mind, is to, give as much information and warn as many people as I can prior, because I think once the scale is tipped, there's no going back, and it'll be too late to do anything. I think like the people I want to reach and that I'm going to be most effective with are the ones that are listening today ahead of time. And then after it happens, I don't need to be the one saying, "See, I told you so." So yeah, when things get really scary, Ernie, I don't plan on fucking speaking. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't plan on speaking out anymore because it's too late. The motion's already set, and we're going to have a collapse of the economy. We're probably going to have major wars and conflicts, and tons of other things that are going on. But from an economic perspective, like if you're not into real physical silver, or you're tied to the digital illusions of wealth, and those all collapse, like it's generational serfdom on the other end of it. Because number one, we're never going to recover like we did in 2008. That was an institutional crisis. This will be a systemic one that's global, generational, that won't be solved in 3 months or whatever. It's probably going to take another generation to come out of whatever next collapse we have. And then what I'm most concerned about with my children is that not only are the Ponzi scheme is so large, but then on the other side of that is, we're within 5 to 10 years of AI, quantum computing, robotics, Tesla trucks, displacing half of all jobs out there, Ernie. Like this is unprecedented in human history, where there will be a time where humans won't be able to use their labor to create wealth. Forget about how, uneducated most people are and they don't even have basic skills, but then take away their ability to use labor to create wealth and support themselves because they can't compete with robot, burger flippers or coffee or whatever. 1.4 million truckers, like how far away are we from them being displaced, or insurance companies saying human drivers are bad, robot drivers are better, and we're going to penalize or tax human drivers as a result because they're more dangerous. Yeah. This is what I am concerned about. I'm looking far-ranging, and my feeling is that if you're not prepared ahead of the collapse, it's too late to change halfway through it. And then the long-term consequences of this next collapse, not only the severity and the potential world-changing views, like can you imagine the United States no longer being, the king dog? We have to live like a lot of other nations within our means. No, this is not going to be good. And then, after that, you have all these technological things where these, oligarchs own and control of this technology. Like they just don't need human labor anymore. And this is a reality.
My concern has been you make a good point that, at least, if you're willing to work hard and if you get, there's a robot going to kick your ass. So, what about people with labor? Well, it doesn't matter if you're doing it for yourself. That's the problem. They're not letting you have any, I get to do what I want on my land. I got my land. I get to build into my land. And that's why we got to have pirate ship. And we're out. But the point is, if I had freedom of the land, of property rights, then I go, you know what? My labor is good at building, putting one more brick a day, and after a while, I got a wall. I can sit there and work on my own land, doing my own thing, making my own whatever, and bite me. And you're not allowed. You're weird. You're a freak. You got to be in a special class or something because you want to live on your own land. This is they're turning this into rats in a cage, and it's going to have the same problems. You get too many rats and less resources, and crap happens. So they're trying to do this technocrat. Oh, here in Arizona at ASU, we're working on this as a project thing, but it's smart cities. They got it wired, man. They got PhD courses. They got entire buildings. It might as well just say sustainable development, or global warming or something. They got it all into this smart city thing with industry and politicians and academia, and they got some laws, and you can't get it funded. Well, we got 103 pages of all the different methods that you can fund and bond and tax and fee people in your jurisdiction to get some smart city money for us. And, it's a nonprofit. But somebody's paying for the factory to make all your nonprofit crap. This is it. It's on their radar screen, and they're doing it. What would stop it? What could stop it?
Well, this financial collapse. I think like the financial collapse is going to do more to save the environment, to consciously wake up people more than anything. I'm going to call it the single largest event in human history. Whenever this collapse happens, it's going to affect every single country, every single person's ability to, have wealth, create wealth. Everything that's been tied into it is going to be affected. And I said in another interview, I said this is going to be more impactful than World War II was, because World War II directly affected millions of people that were involved in it, but now this will be billions. This will be every single person on Earth is going to be affected by this next financial collapse, and it's the underpinning of everything. It's your job, your house, your assets, your education. What was this all for? And I think a lot of baby boomers are going to wake up going, at the latest stage of their life going, oh my God, like I have nothing. I have no assets. I have no job. And I think that it's going to be similar to the collapse of the Soviet Union. But I think the United States is going to be even more susceptible because we've really been, kept from the consequences of all this stuff. And I think the average Russian, living under the fall of the Soviet Union had to live through the Bolshevik Revolution and, communist regimes and knew a tough times. And the average age of the average Russian man after the collapse, their life expectancy dropped 7 years because of this alcoholism and suicides and just poor health quality, because these people suffered even more when the Soviet Union collapsed. And I think that we're going to have something similar to that. I mean, even when Bernie Madoff, there was 6 suicides, including his own son, that their egos were tied to the amount of money that they had and the wealth and the connections and all that other stuff. When that all goes away, I don't think people are prepared.
Bernie Madoff's son committed suicide?
You what? Oh, yeah, I definitely think people with suicide.
No, I didn't know Bernie Madoff's son. That kind of sucks. He did all this,
yes!
and then your son committed suicide.
Hung himself with his baby in the room.
Dr. Idris Barber.
Be right back.
I've healed many landlubbers, but could have healed countless more if they were willing to break the law to preserve themselves. The Crown required that I obey leeching privateers who didn't share my oath to do no harm. I was forbidden from discussing the treatments I knew patients needed. The Crown claims to protect landlubbers from bankrupting medical expenses, but only seduces them into begging for relief, while privateers monopolize the management of chronic illness. This royal alliance has constructed a medical hegemony that denies science, discredits alternative remedies, and mandates unwanted treatments, while callously ignoring the victims dying on waiting lists. They have produced a society increasingly addicted, impoverished, diseased, and suicidal. My conscientious objections and medical ambitions required not only seeing this cage, but leaving it. That's why I raised my black banner. Among pirates, the Crown's tantrums are irrelevant. You own your body without qualification. Open ocean medicine enables healers and customers to build a relationship of mutual consent. Prices decrease, quality increases, and physicians become as accessible as barbers. Customers determine their own medical care, whether that's experimental treatments, prohibited plants, controversial procedures, bootleg pharmaceuticals, or even the right to die. Any system of command and control is rejected. In time, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, genetic engineering, and cybernetic prosthetics could take the human condition beyond our imagination. Medical augmentation could eliminate aging, enhance intelligence, and erase our fundamental physical limitations. With the Crown in our wake and the individual at the helm, we are free to pursue an unfettered life. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The new.
Yeah, I gotta get that in. The top of Drudge. IRS, New York Times gets Trump's tax documents. Like I care. I mean, that's gonna change anything. I don't care. Whatever. So how we got a timeline on the economic crash coming? Is there some deadlines on interest rates and payments of somebody? Because the Treasury bills they put up, everybody's running away from those. So then they got some Federal Reserve buddy in the Caymans wind up buying stuff each time. So and then that was another thing on the Fed's balance sheet. I'm going, there's a balance sheet. When the hell did they start? Accumulating crap.
They ballooned it after the financial crisis, yeah.
Well, I mean, when did that even start that they were able to even use that as a tactic?
Yeah.
So I'm going,
well, they're above the law.
Yeah, see, I don't get stressed out about it as much as most. I'm just going, we got to go through this, so what do? I got a bunch of chickens. We did the aquaponic thing. We learned how to do some water deal. We got the power thing. We got the little atomic.
And that's the thing. That's all you got to do is recognize the world's screwed up, but then focus on what you can control. Like, I really hate how a lot of the people in the truth community, just simply watch doom porn and it disempowers them. Recognize the world's screwed up, but what are you doing in your own life, to make your life better? If you're worried about the medical system, instead of writing about all these vaccines, are you eating healthy food? I watch these people get all up in arms about vaccines, but then they're eating junk food and they're going to get cancer. And, these are all things that you got to do. If you're worried about, energy, do you have solar going on, or, do you have the ability of protecting yourself? If you're worried about the banking system collapse, do you have silver? These are all things that I think every individual can do to,
let's
provide
do it on
a
air.
buffer.
Here, coming back. Here we go.
At twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free.
I
want to break free from your life.
Uncovering the secrets. Hey, we're gonna not be as bad as most, and we know what kind of knowledge and abilities, and oh my God, we know how to camp. I mean, something, down by the river in a van with clean water, and we don't die of plague or something. So there's going to be a bad time, and then what's going to happen? What always happens? The houses and assets and commodities and land and so on go cheap. Those come buy it all up because they got all the pre-inflated money, begin with. They buy it all up and sell it back to us again. It's just on a big giant scale, more like Depression or the Greatest Depression. So what do you do? To compete, you have to be able to have land or property rights or something. That's what they take away. That structure that was to provide for that for each individual on an equal playing field is gone. So don't expect that you're going to be able to just run back in unless you kiss some robot's ring or something. So is it another country? Do we got to go into a civil war here? Is there we just sit down and won't play? What are you thinking?
I mean, personally, my strategy is just with silver. I understand that it's tremendously undervalued, but during currency crisis, and Venezuela proves it, silver is what transfers wealth from one financial paradigm to another. It is real, tangible wealth. It's divisible and meets all the forms of money. It's been money throughout all time and all civilizations, and it's only in this recent bubble of the Federal Reserve where we have these fiat money notes that have replaced that the average person doesn't even know what silver is. So I'm looking at that 100-year bubble of the Fed to blow up, and that we're going to be forced to go back to valuing things that actually have real value, which I think there's going to be. I mean, there's quadrillions of dollars. It's mind-boggling. Quadrillions of dollars in derivatives, trillions of dollars in real estate, corporations, all these other things, and there's only 1 billion ounces of silver. There's 7 billion people in the world, 8 billion arable acres of the world, and only 1 billion ounces of silver above ground in that form. This is why I think that the value of silver is so undervalued. I can make cases for $1,000 silver in today's terms, just based off the labor value of silver going into it. So I think that once the bubble pops all these, stocks, real estates, all these other things are going to crash. The rise of silver, people are going to clamor into gold, clamor into silver. There's not enough to go around. It's in very tight hands, and the price is going to go astronomical. I think there'll be a permanent revaluation of silver because it's been so undervalued for so long that we're going to have to revalue it to get more mining out of it and wiser use of it. So we stop treating it like an industrial metal like tinfoil. It's a truly rare and precious metal. And then, once the smoke clears, then either leverage your silver that you have by borrowing against it, selling it outright, trading outright for other assets, and then going back into buying, land and businesses and technology and all these other things when it's selling at fire sales because nobody's got any money.
I gotta inject this perspective here. In the savings and loan crash that happened in the late 80s, early 90s, when all that Resolution Trust Corporation they created to liquefy the assets. It was kind of like their TARP. It was one for one to the bank kind of BS. Well, there was only, oh my God, it's $600 billion. I mean, chump change now. So this was just like a dry run for this. What happened here in Arizona, and it's always Arizona, they had the Southwest, Nevada, and so on, Florida and such. Well, what they did here when it went, they had the savings and loan thing with Charles Keating and the savings and loan that they had, and they built the Phoenician on other people's money and all this and gold-plated toothbrushes and whatever. When they did this, all of a sudden, all these big developments and projects and houses and golf courses and home developments and suburbs, all this stuff comes up for sale. They go, we got to sell it. All right, fine, start selling it by acre. You make $1 gazillion more for individuals that could afford to buy an acre, 10 acres, whatever, plots. Nope, it's got to be 100 acres at a time. Well, who can afford that? The banks. You see my point? And they would make half as much money on it, but that wasn't the point. The point was to give it to their buddies and not to us, and we're not going to be able to grow and benefit from the equity in this stuff. It's always in big, giant lots that is carved up. It's like they're doing the maps after World War I of the Middle East, and they're just saying this is who's going to get what and where. And when it happens again, it's the same thing that's going to happen. We're not going to be the ones benefiting.
No,
in my opinion,
unless you put yourself in a position.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you have to have the financial means of being able to sit at the table with the big boys. So, how
much I got to do? I tell you, Chris, I stack big giant stacks of silver, and I'm like, woohoo, man! I'm going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
When they do the land, I'll go buy me, like 20 acres of, and it only comes in lots of 200 acres.
Okay, so you got to make sure you have enough silver to do that.
Oh, smart guy. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, or not. Maybe you're not going to be a land developer. But maybe you could pay off all your debts, all your friends and family's debts, and start off again. I don't know. Like, I just know that the only solution of getting wealth from this paradigm to the next one is silver. That's the best thing. It's undervalued. It's totally antithetical to this paradigm. Every other market, the art market, the car market, the student loan market, the real estate, stocks, but everything's at bubble highs, like unprecedented levels, unrealistic levels. They're all going to collapse, except for silver. That's what's been pushed down for 100 years. Under this Fed thing. So, I think that's the only solution for me. Even gold's overvalued to silver. The gold to silver ratio is like, 1 to 72, 1 to 80. I mean, it only comes out of the ground at a 1 to 9 ratio. The above ground stocks of gold, there's an estimated 6 to 3 times more physical silver or gold above ground than there is silver. Silver's more rare than gold is above ground. So, there needs to be a real valuation of silver. And I'm happy that they're giving it away for $14. God bless them, because I'm stacking more and more that I can.
That's what I'm
They're
encouraging.
Subsidizing it.
I'm encouraging audience. I'm with you, brother. I'm just going, you can't get enough silver. It's just, and, it could go half, yeah? Then I get to buy more.
Yeah, I think the downside risk maybe it gets to 10, but I know guys who, at 10 who don't own any silver, it would dump $1 million into the silver at $10 because they just know it's cheap. But the upside potential, I mean, I've done multiple videos where I think it should be at least 4 digits. $1,000 silver easily. Based on a lot of different metrics. You can base it off of, historic human labor. You can base it off of relative valuation of silver and gold versus all the other wealth. The gold to silver ratio, or the gold to Dow ratio, reached a 1-to-1 ratio back in 1980. Why can't it do that again? And if gold to silver to gold ratio collapses, then silver would have a tremendous purchasing power over, the Dow Jones. But it's difficult for people to see this because we have this normalcy bias, like, oh, this is the way it is and this is the way it's always going to be. No, that's what gets people in trouble. They think that just because it is, it's always going to be that way. And that's why everybody gets so blindsided when these things happen. And I suffered under the 2008 financial crisis. I've been preparing for this next one because I know the next one's going to be the biggest and baddest one, and one that I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to come back from.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I would think that we would be able to come back if we were just allowed to. Freedom's the answer. What's the question? Just leave us alone. We'll take care of it. And they go, no. Hell no. We're going to ratchet it down even more. And certainly we don't want to let Chris Duane talk and say anything about anything. Hold on a second. I want to talk about your videos more. But, Chris Duane, Truth Never Told on YouTube while you can. And some of that stuff is gold. You need to, or silver. You need to pull it down. Copy it, get it, and we may help Chris do that very thing so they never go away. This is, the purging of knowledge, the digital book burning. It's happening. And people buy their fruits. Who's doing it and why? They, them, those. We'll be right back. Okay, the videos that you do when you produce them, they're high quality stuff. You pump a crap load out. You got a video editor? Or are you doing it all yourself? Are you supplying?
Yeah, I do it all myself. I'm a one-man band.
Okay, where do you get all? What are you using
coin.
To do it?
Huh?
What software are you using to do yours?
Oh, Final Cut Pro on my Mac.
Okay, and it goes pretty easy and fast. You like using that?
Yeah.
Okay, now
I'm so used to it. I mean, I've done 1,600 videos, so I put these videos up, in no time. But I remember when I first started, it took so much time. But I've created enough. To me, it's really just getting the information out, recording it, and then finding visuals that go along with what I'm trying to prove.
Well, how do you do that? You just go.
I have all my. I've downloaded a lot of the videos, and I end up using a lot of the same clips, unfortunately, because they're truth and they're very powerful. So.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. A lot of Corbett has Brock West, a guy that does it, and then a lot of the guys start using he runs out of time, and then you have other guys. It's the video editing is the guy that damn. So I just you have some really good stuff. I was wondering how you did that. You're just a head down and plow guy.
Yeah, no, I do it all myself, and I'll get pumped up from doing a couple, and then I don't do it for a week or two, and I feel like we've been doing this for so long. The people that follow me, they know to support me. They know, they know, like with your audience. I mean, they know what we're going to say, but they just. They want to make sure that they're not the only crazy people out there seeing what we see.
Well, also they want to be able to.
That's half the reason why I speak out. I don't want to see these things and not think that other people aren't getting this. I mean, it helps me to.
But they need to be able to share your videos, and they've made that impossible.
Yeah.
I can put the link up there.
This particular one.
Well, no. Once they start with what ours, okay. in 10, 11, it was 11, you would see a big break in YouTube. We had all our Ron Paul stuff up there from doing Lovolution, all that kind of crap and everything. And I started doing the shows, and it'd go up. And when they came after me for some rejoiner, oh, I'm sorry, you're not. I go, that's it, we're done. I already know where this goes. So I went dark.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. Yeah,
I went dark on.
I wouldn't go back.
Well, this is what I did. I went dark on all the social media. I have the Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, all that crap, and I just stopped.
Yeah.
And I go, nope, not doing it anymore. Well, I said, they go, well, you got these. Why don't you? I go, no, you gotta go where the people are and all that bullshit. And I go, nope. It's a opiate. They're getting you addicted into this. They start, you'll get big hits on if you have the right word or say the right thing, and there's some algorithm. They go, oh, we want to reward them for talking about Britney Spears' belly button ring. So I'm going, no, I'm not playing that game. So I just do what I wanted to do, bypassed them. We created our own platforms. We started working on our own decentralized stuff, looking for the next ones that were bigger than what we could do, yada, yada, yada. And I go, when it happens, it is going to be a full sweep on it. And I thought they were going to do it, I don't think they were ready by 16. After 16 and Trump getting in and Brexit and everything, they freaked the F out. They weren't really super ready for 18, but they sure as shit are getting ready for 2020. And I go, when we have an over there, we got another place to be that anybody can just go and a new platform that's not censorable, then I'll come back and go, hey, we're here to tell you we're over there. Well, what happened is when they purged everybody and they did the 800 Facebooks and all this other stuff at the end of the year and beginning of this year, that's when we went back and live streamed on Facebook, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, on and on and on and on. We came back and we said, all right, we used all these channels to go, we're here to let you know what's happening to you and other guys like you, and that we've got our content over somewhere else that's forever. When we did that, now what are they going to do? After they're going to start a new purge or repurge or get Ernie purge? I don't know. I started getting little rumblings and so on, but this has been what I have been waiting for. You've been waiting for the silver to go, which I've been keeping track of. But what I've been waiting on is the ability to have pirate communications. Hailing frequencies invisible to the crown. They can't stop it. Immutability, all this promises of different things like blockchain and hashing and all this, that not necessarily for crypto or anything else other than ones and zeros cannot be stopped. Until you do that, satellite communications, whatever the hell, mesh networking, which we're plugging into here in the Valley in Phoenix, I just, this was my thing. Yeah, that's your thing, the silver thing, which I'm a big supporter of, by the way. But for me, I'm going, it all don't mean shit until you can have freedom of ones and zeros. And it's going to be done like bulletin boards back in the 90s, and they're going to have to suck it. Well, here we go. So while you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and hopefully we can overlap, and I want to help you.
And the added benefit, I think, to what you're doing is that not only is it decentralized, but I think, like, when things get really hectic, they're simply going to have too many other problems on their radar to even deal with dissent. There's going to be economic, social unrest, possibly wars and all that other stuff. Like, they're just simply not going to have the manpower. Like, right now,
they're going to use AI.
Like,
dissent is going to be
Poverty Law Center. Yeah, like
they're going to have the religion church priest of the guys running around in Saudi Arabia. You don't have your veil on right. That's how they're going to do it here. I guarantee it. They're not going back.
I don't think that's going to fly in the United States, though.
Like Americans, lack of trying.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't. Saudi Arabia is an absolute tyrannical shithole. So yeah, like I don't think the average American will be, susceptible to that. But yeah, I love all the stuff that you're doing, and it's going to continue to evolve. To the point where, like my silver idea, at some point it's going to become very important, and then that's, all that hard work that you put in for a decade is going to pay off. Well, that's what I'm doing with silver, and I can definitely see what you're doing with all the communication, and not only the communication, Ernie, like building the relationship with all these guys, like, Larkin Rose and Corbett and all these other guys out there. Like, you're getting to know them, and they get to know you. So, like, these are all good things that are happening.
Yeah, Larkin's moving to Arizona
going forward.
Yeah, Larkin's going to be in Arizona. We're going to do 2020 election cycle, we're going to be butt heads about something, So I'm going to, there's a lot of stuff going, Chris. I'm just wondering, when this finally goes, you're like, man, I'm good. I got my farm and wherever the hell, and I'm just peace out. But, we're in the same, awareness of this thing. It just really bothers me that they're going to make us go through the motions. They're going to clamp down. They're going to. And I'm like, all right, fine. You guys want to play this game? In the end, the Dragon Queen always gets her ass kicked. I don't know, whatever. or Cersei or whatever. All right, man, I got to get to my next hour. Thanks,
all right,
Chris.
Take care.
All right, peace.
Yeah. Bye.
Now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Wait a minute, I'm here. I had to push the button. Oh, welcome back to Declare Your Independence. I'm here in the Hancock here in Phoenix, Arizona. From the BEA beautiful studios of Phoenix with an S, PhoenixPhoenix.com. All right, who we got scheduled now? Donna's getting him on now. He's supposed to be coming on the Zoom, whatever. Now Chris was supposed to be on yesterday, and he said that his phone went out dead or something, whatever. Anyway, so we got him on today for you. Thank you. Amin Rafi is a crypto anarchist, entrepreneur, journalist, and public speaker. He's been working closely with the developers and communities of many revolutionary projects in the cryptosphere since 2013, an active user of Bitcoin communities and a respected member that is constantly involved with the dedicated developers and leaders of this exciting industry with a keen eye for the latest advancements and diverse backgrounds. I'll turn that up a little bit. And diverse backgrounds including industrial design, engineering, R&D, marketing, and international business, philosophy, psychology, providing a strong foundation to understand and communicate with a large number of members across different fields. He's a regular speaker at a lot of Bitcoin conferences throughout Europe and such, and I wanted to talk to him about a lot of things. One of the things, the most recent example of this is BitNation. BitNation is a digital, fill out of I got my own nation, I'm, Pirate Land or whatever the heck, which we've gone through that with the creators of that. And BitNation Refugee Aid that won an award at the UNESCO Nextplo 2017 forum. So I'm going... The most recent example of this was through BitNation's Refugee Aid. Then he won a United Nations thing with this, using digital, I get to be my own country. I definitely want to find out what the hell is he talking about. He's an advocate of peer-to-peer and decentralization in an otherwise centralized world. And an advocate of privacy, peer-to-peer economies, decentralization in an otherwise centralized world. Amin is currently working with the 1M5 project, which is what we'll have banner ads and starting to promote that as soon as we get to talk to him. A protocol seeking to provide anonymous, uncensored communication by routing messages and communication through Tor, I2P, meshing networks. The protocol is currently being developed to be used by Encrypt for journalists. Now, these are all the things that we're hoping to help with. And using different, mechanisms for doing it, and a lot of it is we're going to do this on this platform, or we're going to work with Google or the UN, or we're going to, so he's one of these guys that's been out. Yeah, we're going to save the world, and we can be and help us, and we'll be in a lot of interest. So I want to find out, who he's working with, how this, where is he, seeking out and searching for the participation and partners in this to save the planet. What might that be? See, we'll see how that works. He's got the skills, he's got the contacts, he got the power, so we'll find out. Well, I don't know what the problem with getting him on is, but I get to talk more. Oh. All right, so let's start looking at some of the, while Donna's working on that, we'll see if we can, learnify ourselves with something. Here we have Space Invaders, how pseudo-satellites will soon conquer the stratosphere. Now, what they're talking about is these high-flying balloons and forever planes. They have these planes that are solar with some battery, and they go up high, and they may come down in a few weeks. Let's see. It's the unmanned Airbus designed vehicle with a wingspan of 82 feet can fly for almost a month and is so light that 2 people can lift it. Wow. See, it's technology, it's materials, man. Build the ship. Build the ship. All right. So we'll hear more about that. Some of the stuff, Stephen Lindman, he's definitely paying attention to Venezuela because he was a big Hugo Chavez guy. He's like, yeah, let the socialists reign. And, I don't care because it's Venezuela. If they wanted to live off oil and they, paid the people and the infrastructure doing and he stays in power and the goodies of free whatever, I don't care. Peace out. You want to do that? Hell, that's what, Kuwait does. United Arab Emirates. What do you think Dubai is all built on? These guys, I am a river to my people. Well, that was kind of Gaddafi's thing. He built an enormous aqueduct that supplied water to the entire country, and it was booming. And then China came in and said, hey, we'll help you booming, and we'll develop some more oil, and then it got boomed with bombs from the U.S. The U.S. is eventually, at some point, sometime, going to get theirs. And to think that they're not vulnerable, it's. Can you imagine? It's kind of Liam Neeson Taken movie. It's some star in Tomb Raider 47 of we gotta go kick government ass with Angelina Jolie or something. It's going to be James Bond. UK's not our buddies anymore. I mean, something. It's going to take one person or just one or just one pissed off truck driver or something to get creative. Now, sometimes they do stuff that's just boom. They drove a suicide truck bomb into the front gate and then you did a little damage. Yeah, big deal. I mean, you could now guys and kids and hackers with I'll give you an example. You have the entire city of Baltimore. They're talking about, I just saw this. What does this say? It says, I saw it here somewhere. Baltimore is not able, the people that live there, their computer systems are crippled by ransomware viruses, and residents may not be able to pay bills. Now, to what? The city? For the water thing? Yeah, not my problem. But this is how, there are people with different skills. You could cause some damage. What about, I don't know, some vaccine company? What about some, munitions company? What about, the warmongering, we can rule in a bank of, what? You just piss off the wrong guy, the guy that works at the factory. Hell, with Tesla, assembly line, the guys are there, or they were paid by the union, or they got a job there and infiltrated, doing everything they could to sabotage, and they find them and prosecute them and start going after, and this happens all the time. So I'm just going, yeah, you start pissing off the people, and you just have grandmas and uncles and kids that are just a pain in your butt on so many levels. Are you sure you want to do this? Is why when there are civil wars, there's like total destruction. Because they, them, those, the king, the mother of dragons, or whatever it is, they don't like challenge to their rule, and they will rather lay waste and burn and raise entire cities down in Raqqa, if they have to. And they will. They don't care. This Game of Thrones thing, I'm caught up on it. I get in binges over different times, whatever, because I, do it kind of semi-free, and I semi-don't, semi. But, so I get all caught up. Anyone that's never watched it, I can't start another, like Frank, you watch all this other crap, and he goes, I go, no. If you go through Game of Thrones, it's so the way it is now. It's the same kind of thing. It's this crown and this crown and this crown, but who is it? It's an individual. It's a group of individuals. It's the Iron Bank. All of these things, it just play out how it does now. And where are the people in this thing? The whole thing with the Mother of Dragons girl, I want to, and it's coming up to where, do you take this one city and kill tens of thousands of people that you were there to save? But I must win. Which is it? Saving people, win to save people? How does this work? Freedom's the answer. What's the question? Do you make it safe for some people to do and be what they want? Is that what's going to happen? But then that's a threat to control and authoritarianism, just even have an example of people thriving. Can't have that.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information, so pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest
Hancock. He's right back. Okay, this is a couple of things that I want to show you. There is, the news of the day. It's just it's the same old, same. Want to make money? Work for the government. Which class of full-time, year-round American workers has the highest median earnings? It is the class that works for private sector employees. Is it the class that works for the government? Or is it the entrepreneurial class, those of whom employ themselves? According to the Census Bureau Personal Income Table 07, PINC 07, whatever that means, the competition isn't close. When it comes to making money in the modern United States of America, government workers win. Among Americans who actually earn income by working, they are the upper class. In 2017, according to Pink 07, I guess this is the report. What is it called? Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. There were 115 million Americans, 704,000 Americans who worked full-time at least 35 hours per week and year-round at least 50 weeks in the year. The table divides those workers into three general classes: private wage and salary workers, government wage and salary workers, and self-employed workers. Of the full-time year-round workers, 88 million were private sector employees, 17 million were government employees, and 10 million were self-employed. Another 42,000 were classified as unpaid family workers, whatever that means. The overall median earnings for all of these full-time year-round workers in 17 was $48,500. Workers in private industry, however, made less than the overall median. Their median earnings were $46,797, $46,000. The self-employed did a little better than the national rate. Their median earnings were $50,300. But government workers did the best. Their median earnings were $53,000. That was 14.2% better than private sector workers and 6.1% better than the self-employed. And it goes on and blah, blah, blah. Want to make money? Work for the government, man. And you ain't really have to work then. That I remember the joke. There was 80% of government employees could be replaced with robots. And Greg Tidden from Missouri, a friend and farmer there, he goes, 100% of them can be replaced with pictures of robots. It's just a way of looking at it. A lot of these, it just shouldn't be there. We are seeing the end. It's going slower, and I don't know if it's slower, but certainly where you can see it of all over the world. What you see in Venezuela, you're seeing what was Venezuela a few years ago. You're seeing the same kind of stuff here. The consolidation of power, the critique of whatever. All right, here we got top websites ranking. Freedom's Phoenix. No, probably not. Okay, we have Google, number one. Then you get YouTube. Yeah, let's see. Facebook, Amazon, Yahoo, Pornhub, Xvideos. And it's a bunch of porn. And then Twitter, eBay, Instagram, Wikipedia. Yeah, Wikipedia used to be, back in the day, man, it was really awesome. And now it's just a political tool again. It's all that, massaged, allowed crap. It's not, I don't use it near as much as I used to. Reddit, Bing, Craigslist. Craigslist, I see that's going to start shooting up. They're going to go after Craigslist. We're going to have to start checking Craigslist ownership and management and boards and all that kind of stuff, because there's a whole bunch of commerce going on and somebody ain't paying taxes on it. And I've heard government say, we're going to get some on that. Really? Okay, well, here it comes. And then it goes. All right. So what's their point here? Does Google rule the world? Is that what it is? Yeah, and Google and YouTube, and they're owned by the same thing. Facebook, Amazon, Yahoo. Then you get into porn. So I'm going, yep. There's a lot of power to be manipulated there. And just FYI. Trending. Universities nationwide remove historical artwork deemed offensive. A major nationwide trend on campuses is the removal of historic artwork depicting prominent figures or scenes that are deemed offensive or racist by today's standards. The censorship is getting wider in scope. Controversial historical figures like Christopher Columbus and Woodrow Wilson have consistently drawn student outrage and protest. Consistently, really? what student? All 5 of them or something? I mean, not that I'm a fan of any of these guys. I'm like, you build a monument to anybody, I think it's stupid. But, it's, yeah. Now, if it's not the principle, I mean, maybe, the Bill of Rights or something like that. But, have a standard to hold. If you put somebody up as a standard, well, no individual's ever going to meet some standard of somebody else's whatever. So I'm not a big fan of certainly using tax money, to honor some individual. Now, if you want to do it yourself and put it on your thing, or if they don't want it on the public, grounds anymore and give it back to you and put it in your backyard or something. I mean, it's probably, freedom's the answer. What's the question? I mean, all this stuff, comes from this idea that we got to vote on what we're going to do with my money. I'm like, quit. But other more beloved figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson are also beginning to attract controversy. So, here it comes. And I'm good. The first problem is you got government school, Oh, wait a minute. Hey, There he is. So here's the heir. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, proud. Anyway, there's a picture of baby. I showed you. There's a picture. Got it. It looks like a baby. Boom. Done. Salt Lake Tribune seeks to become a non-profit community asset, a first for a legacy newspaper, because they don't have a choice. Now think about this. They were looking, remember when the newspapers, they were starting to cough up blood a decade ago or so, they were screaming for bailouts. Like they were the auto industry. So we're the fourth branch of government. We're the blah, 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 give us money. Keep us in business. Okay, which ones? Little ones, big ones, which ones? New York Times, that's who. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. So here what Salt Lake is going to be doing something different. After years of heavy financial losses, the Salt Lake Tribune is pursuing federal approval to become a nonprofit operation sustained by donations, large and small. Now, are they going to, who would donate? And if they did, what kind of control would they have over a paper? And what would they say? Would they be critical of the interest of the donators? Well, so donations. Are they going to be donating to buy the paper? Are they just giving it out? Are they throwing it on your doorstep? Is it a free? Are they going to have any advertising? I have no idea. Owner Paul Huntsman, who bought Utah's largest newspaper in 2016, confirmed his lawyers have approached the IRS about changing the Tribune from a privately owned business to a community asset. A community asset. Okay. The wealthy businessman said he sees the transformation as the best way to sustain the Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper and maintain its independence. Its independence with donors. Yeah. Well, they're going to try a different... In a twofold strategy, attorneys have already sought IRS approval to create blah, 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 blah. Well, we'll put this one up. This is a trend. Here we go. It's going to come down. You're going to have your newspaper is going to be like a piece of, graphene that's going to come on. You can change. It's like Minority Report. It updates the newspaper as you're reading it. They just change it. Wi-Fi's in. They're called like tablets. I don't know. Why would you even go different? Well, it needs to be like a paper tablet. And it's not so bulky.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa, and we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Oh, I wasn't ready with my music. Here I am. All right. This is some more news I wanted to make sure you kind of get a beat on here. Take a look at this. Mexican president to media. You know what will happen for bad coverage. You sure you want to do that? You want to do that? You want to do bad coverage? You know, I wouldn't want to be you if you did some bad coverage of me because I'm president. You know, now, Trump, what does he do? Does he go after him? Does he do anything? Is he, I don't know, probably whines, bitch, complain. I mean, hell, they are after him, but here, you know, kind of the idea has been, that's what, I think it was Jefferson, he was going, you know, you have free press and freedom of speech, you know, the counter for, you know, bad speech is, you know, more speech. You know, it's just, you know, let it go. See, I don't get all nutted up. Even when they, you know, during campaigns, man, they'll say the worst stuff about libertarians or even come after me or, you know, you got your adjectives, you know, tie-dye wearing, dope smoking, gun toting, crazy libertarian Ernest Hancock says this about that. You know, I'm like, yeah, whatever, spell it right. So I never really worried about it because in the end, anybody that was really paying attention, certainly my friends and family and so on, they knew what was going on. You know, you think we don't know how bad the press is? So you just, yeah, that's all good, man. But when you start really going after them, I don't know how, you know, the pen mightier than the sword. You know, is it? Well, you know, sometimes, I mean, usually, eventually. One of the largest and most respected international press freedom organizations called out a series of statements made by Mexico's president against critical news outlets. In a country that continues to be one of the deadliest for journalists, comments or threats by politicians against the media are a reason for concern. That's a reason for concern. The cartel didn't like what you say, or you just blame it on the cartel. It's like, yep, he must have did the wrong drug or something. Did the wrong story. Boom, dead. Well, it could be just political opposition. And political opposition, the actual candidates, they drop like flies in Mexico. God forbid you have a freedom-oriented, popular person that's dead. You hear a lot about it. Mayors, state governors, whatever. You probably don't hear about it a lot around the rest of the country. Here in Arizona, man, woo, it's in the paper, people know about, and you get and crosses your radar screen. If you go too far, you know what will happen. That's what he's saying to at press briefing. You go too far, you know what'll happen. Yeah, what will happen? You know. All right, well, maybe I don't know. Yeah, but we know. So, all right, fine. I'm so concerned by our attitude towards it. Do we get jaded to it? What do we do about it? Who do you listen to? You go, yeah, it's confirmation bias. You go, yeah, I like the New York Times, and they did that one story. Well, that one story was preceded by 24 stories that was a bunch of crap. And when they got caught, this is when I realized a long time ago, it's not the news. It's a spin on the olds. They don't, when everybody knows about something, it's already a big deal, then here comes the media to explain what everybody knows, what it really means. So, as activists, you want to goad the media into covering something, you put up signs everywhere. You want to campaign, you make it a popular, you do something crazy out on the, I don't want to say because, this might be stuff we do. But, I'm just going to, you get people's attention. Creative things. Skywriting, pulling banners at different events behind planes, having floating, images that you light and do one of the lakes of the kind of, in the video the drone did and kind of, one thing that was a creative idea. And now, right now, would have been perfect. It's raining again today. It's all been, there's been a bunch of rain so on. It was Morpheus. Morpheus that's doing time in jail now, be getting out here within a year, hopefully, for his Bitcoin trading and stuff and everything. This was his idea. He goes, what if in the approach there's open desert fields going into, it's downtown kind of thing, but there's open on the riverbed there. It comes like this, the Salt River, the planes coming in land in line with the river. There's sometimes it's dry, sometimes it's not. You got the Tempe Town Lake. You got anyway. So it's the airport. The landing strips are kind of in parallel with the river, basically. So you don't have high-rises built in the riverbed. So when the planes come in, they go across some big fields out there that are not developed and who want to live there or work there anyway, but big fields. And he goes, what if you took some wildflowers, some seeds, grass, anything, and you just planted them there at the right time, which would have been like, a month ago or something. And you spelled out 9/11 truth or, planes didn't hit, whatever. He wanted to do a 9/11 thing. And you just went out there, you kind of marked it out, how you just walked it in big area and you just threw seeds. Just kind of had a little rake there, you kind of put it in, kind of threw the seeds out there and just let it sit there. At some point, they would sprout and it would spell out something. And every plane coming in would see it. And I go, that's a good idea. You could make a logo, you could do whatever. And I'm going, and what would those do? And how would they know? And who would they get? They would come after me now. But I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I gave you guys the idea. It's you guys. You did it. Didn't you? Didn't you do it? Yeah, I think you did it. So this is the kind of stuff. We get creative. That's why we had the printing press and the T-shirts and all. It's just you create an awareness of an issue or a thing, like we did the Vaccine Education Summit. We'll do another summit of some kind. We'll go piss off somebody in this September, October. You know, what shall we do? I don't know. That's going to be fun, interesting. It's going to be informative. It's going to be to where they, them, those have to cover it. They have to. They have to. Because they can't let people out there go into webpage. They want to know what's going on. They go, they search it, they find it, they surf, they get the information, they share, they copy, they send, and they go, nope, we gotta FUD it. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You don't want to associate with these guys, what they really say, and if they did, then like freedom would reign and chaos would accompany, and we'd have a job, and you can't have that or something. I mean, you know, this is how we get them to cover it. They don't cover the news. They spin the olds. That's what they call it, the spin room. They actually call it spin rooms. They will spin it, and they will go, what are they going to do? Well, a legislator and official shiny badge wearing, gun toting, fine hat guy here says this about that. Well, what do they say? Don't care. You know, so this is, and you're going to see a lot more of this. It's going to be street activist kind of stuff going into the 2020 election cycle. It's going to bypass all of these controls, and of course they're going to try and say what it means. Well, these are preludes to revolution, preludes to the Civil War, preludes to, or it could just be peaceful change. Do you have a system that allows for this kind of change? You know, JFK understood. Those that make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Well, what's the revolution that they want? Revolution of all our money belongs to them, you know, and who uses that? They, them, those. You know, they promise, you know, Bernie, you know, health care for everybody and this for everybody and that for everybody and everybody gets some money and everybody. You know, if they wanted to do something, I go, all right, well, you know, can I have some robots? They can go work for me. You know, robots are going to have all these jobs. And I go, good. I want to have me a bunch of robots. And you can do it. You just buy a bunch of Tesla cars and then just let them go out there and make money for you. But then other people will do it. You know, chains will be doing it. Tesla themselves are doing it. What they got planned is, what they got planned is that they're going to be leasing Teslas. And when the lease is over, you can't buy it. It goes back to the company. And they're going to use those as taxis. Robo-taxis a la Tesla. So a lot of times they're going, well, he doesn't have the money and this stock's not going to be where you can't. And you're going, oh, yeah? What if I got robo-cars driving and I'm getting to make money? You know, my robots out there making me money. What about that? Huh? What about that? You think that? Maybe that? Yeah, probably that. Yep, you just got to think 20 years in the future. Hell, 5. And you can see what's coming and where to position yourself.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010. But now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
From that romantic summer evening in 1924 when Pol Pot was conceived, to the first time someone figured out how to eat a pineapple without ripping their mouth to shreds. This week in history, 1692, 5 citizens were executed after being convicted during the Salem witch trials, all while dozens of witches, warlocks, and sorcerers stood by and watched the wrongly accused take the rap for them, while the perfectly normal humans charged with witchcraft were publicly hung and dragged to their unmarked graves. The numerous Salem citizens that did spend their evenings casting spells and awakening the dead merely lowered their heads as their friends and neighbors were burned at the stake.
Historical records have indicated that as many as 35% of the people in Salem were actually witches and warlocks. In fact, the executioner himself was a well-known necromancer who, after hanging the wrongly accused witches, reanimated their dead bodies and apologized before casting them into the eternal fires of hell.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more fight, a little less spark. A little less fight, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart and maybe satisfy me. Satisfy me, baby.
Yeah, satisfy me, baby. Yep. God, the future's going to be so interesting for some and scary for others and deadly for many. I'm not sure what we should do other than what we've been doing. It's all been about, we need to make sure that we're prepared. We're just prepared. Prepared for what? I don't know. For not being dead. I'm encouraging people to not be dead. Let's not be dead. How do we not be dead? And you want to have the ability to provide for your family and make sure that they're taken care of, they're healthy. What happens when they get really sick? I mean, there's going to be some diseases and sick. Let's give them vaccinations. Yeah, a lot of the illness that I think that vaccinations really are for viruses. I'm not sure. What about other pathogens? You want to introduce bacteria, and I'm not feeling it. Humans have been. It's been nutrition. There has been, some immunity needs. You have the Europeans come over to Central South America and 40 million people, entire races, entire species, entire human population dead. And they go, well, you don't need that gold necklace anymore now, do you? Boom, we'll take that. And then the pirates take it, from the Spanish galleons that stole it from the Incas or whatever, and they're the bad guys. So, whatever. So I look at a lot of, I want to go to this. Let me do this. When you guys see on the page, this is a custom module that you can customize to do whatever, all kinds of different things. We're going to be emphasizing this here soon. But one of the things is I do, custom links. This is where I'll put on, all these different web, and then what a lot of the audience says, a lot of this is, treehugger.com technology. I mean, I go to the left, the right, I just want to see what they're doing. You go, where the hell did he get that? Why did he put that up there? Because that's what they're saying. On the other side, you need to know what's up. Now, some of the ones, I don't even have Popular Science on here anymore. It's so bad. And Wired Magazine is, been bad for years. I hardly even click on it anymore. So you go click, and I got it up here. Okay, Wired Magazine. Let's just look at the, my wild ride in a robot race car. Okay, that's kind of cool. Artificial intelligence may not hallucinate after all. I don't know what the hell that means. These headphones cost $500. Are they worth it? Should I spend $1,000 on a smartphone? Dinosaurs get their close-ups in these stunning photos. Inside the weird and booming industry of online influence. And each one of these stories has this pro-government bent. And there's why top scientists are pretending an asteroid is headed for Earth. Are they pretending? I don't know. Some's heading sometime somewhere. So this is not what it used to be. It used to be a lot more Wired. I remember having one of the editors on in like 10, 11, and he had retired or left. And the story behind Wired was that it was libertarian technology. Technology is going to free us, and all these problems are going to be solved technology, and we're going to cover it technology. And this is in the 90s, if not the early 90s. And they came out, and that was the idea. Technology is going to free us. And he said the editorial board were disillusioned. It was politics was in the way. It was, the technology, oh yeah, it may free you, but you're going to be allowed, and we got everything that we can do to make sure, and you're out of business, or you're not allowed, or you don't get your supplies, or you got to pay this tax, or you got to something. There's always something. Don't think so? Ask Tucker. Ask Howard Hughes. Ask Elon Musk. Anybody that challenges the status quo, they got 15 gazillion ways they're going to get you. Ask DeLorean. It's just, and it's always the entrenched monopolies that have, forced government monopolies on them. And it's going to get to the point where it's desktop manufacturing. It's going to be, I built 3D printed my own car. Suck it. Which, you don't think so? A few years ago, they had bodies that you could, you had a platform, and you go, all right, I want this car. You design it yourself with them, and they 3D print the chassis. Be like a dune buggy or something, which is now coming out, open dune buggies by Volkswagen. They're going to have because I remember General Motors did this, it was over a decade ago. It was a long time ago. Before we started, it may have been 20 years ago, they came up with what they called the skateboard. The skateboard was it's like Tesla without the body on it. It was the battery pack in the bottom. It had the wheels and suspension, and everything was, by wire. You had, you put on the, accelerator and the steering and all that kind of stuff was, by electrical circuits, actuators that did, blah, blah, blah. You didn't have like a rack and pinion, so you had the skateboard, and then you built the body on it. Well, that's what Duesenbergs were. It's a doozy. When you got the Duesenberg, all you got was the chassis. You got the frame, the wheels, the engine, and then you custom built the body. Like Body by Fisher on Fords, it used to say Body by Fisher. I remember when I was a kid getting in the car, and it would say the little chrome part you'd step in when you open the door, that little threshold there, it said Body by Fisher. I go, who the hell's Fisher? It had an old, car on there, old-timey 30s car or something. Well, that's how they did it. The body was done by something else. It's just like, Tesla has the Panasonic battery plant that's at the Gigafactory, but it's a separate plant. It's got a dividing line. You own this. This is mine. The two shall not, meet. We did it together and kind of peace out. But, and then when they undo that contract and they go to Maxwell Technology for, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Let me tell you about that a little bit. But so all of these stories, especially PopSci. Let's go check out PopSci. PopSci.com. I think that's what it was. And it is propaganda like you wouldn't. The domain popsci.com is for sale? Oh, okay. Let me see. Popular Science. Because I thought subscriptions, Popular Science Magazine. Really? They're selling the site. I guess they don't have it anymore. All right, let's go to their Wikipedia and see what happened. Yeah, because they suck, man. For the magazine, see Popular Science. Is an American Quarterly magazine carried by... Does it have a thread? Wow. Yep, see, it's going bad. And you could tell Popular Science was just so, it's always been kind of bad. In the 80s, you could start to see what they were doing. What they were doing is they were promoting technology that they were trying to sell to the military. They're going, look, you definitely need to have this thing here because you need to have it. Okay, popsci.com. Okay, what did I spell? Oh, okay. I don't know. All right, here it is. All right. How to ditch your iPhone for Android and take your files with you. Find the real breakfast of champions with this helpful chart. The coolest Android Q features Google just announced and how to try them. Flickering light to help mice with Alzheimer's-like symptoms. So where's the tech? Where's the cool new, we're going to save the planet kind of got this, rocket ship to the moon, anti-gravity, whatever the hell. It's just not there anymore. And anything that you do is, it's just more trying to market it to the military to buy it, to make it to where you can't get it. You go, either you buy it military or we're going to sell it to the people. I remember they called it dragon skin or dragon armor or something. It was a overlapping kind of like a scales that was a bulletproof vest, and it was the only bulletproof vest that held off rifle bullets. So your bulletproof vest, it may help you with handguns. Somebody shoots you with an AK-47 or an AR, it's going through it. So I don't know what your bulletproof vest ain't doing you no good, or a rifle caliber. So just FYI. Well, so what happens is they go, we got this dragon skin. Well, they go, nope, not allowed. And they put it out and they promoted the crap out of it on Popular Science. And then, the military came in and bought, I don't even know if they're getting it, but they bought the exclusivity on it or paid off somebody to where you can't get it. So a lot of all of these traditional websites, traditional ways of getting information, all of the World Wide Web and everything, it's going away because it gets so controlled to where it's so easy to be better. It's so easy to be totally different, to have things that you don't have access to. You've been taken on the off-ramp into irrelevancy. Nothing that's real, and Popular Mechanics is even worse. Hearst owned them, and they went down the dark side a long time ago. So, and I remember they used to have like plans and stuff for building cool things. It's changing.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock continues after the news, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,279, silver at $14.80, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,855. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the American Civil Liberties Union on Tuesday blasted President Donald Trump's decision to pardon a former Army first lieutenant convicted of killing an Iraqi prisoner, saying the move amounted to a presidential endorsement of a murder. Trump granted the pardon late Monday to Michael Bahena, an Oklahoma man who was sentenced to 15.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Ernie.
Okay, I got somebody else is up there. Are they... What are they doing? Who is that? Hello? Somebody up there?
Hello?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Ivek. We spoke last time for 1M5.
Yeah, we didn't have you up. We went on the other stuff. We couldn't get anybody on. You came on late. The show starts at 6 after. Late. Life sucks. We got to reschedule.
Yeah, no worries. I think Brian was on since 10 past 10, so...
Yeah, well, 10 is after the show started. I'm on the other stuff. So,
yeah,
you know, that's the way it is. I got another guest coming in this hour. Donna will try and reschedule, and we'll get you taken care of, okay?
Thanks, mate. Have a good day.
All right, she's sending emails and doing what... Yeah, once I go off of here, yeah, I got to do a show, man. I can't be dicking around.
Yeah, I understand. That's understand. No worries, mate. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll work it out. Talk to you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Ain't not my problem, man. Okay, wait. You all purdy up there? What's this background thing? Let me see.
Well, I just got the green screen going right now.
Nah, that's pretty. So. Okay, wait. You need to bring the camera down just a little bit. You got a lot of headspace. More. There you go.
Okay.
All right, talk so it switches to you. Here, let me see.
All right, test. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Are you able to adjust your lighting?
Yeah.
The intensity, it's just a little bit too bright.
Too bright, okay.
Or have it bounce off the ceiling or something.
I've got 2 big lights going on here. I can just try turning one of them off.
Turn the other one off too. Just let me see what it looks like. All right, start talking so it makes you large.
Oh, actually,
fell on you.
One of these is sort of a ghetto rigged up here. I shouldn't have messed with this one.
Oh, so you prefer jockey shorts? That's good.
Yeah. That's so for everybody on the live stream. All right. Let's have that one sit up there.
Yeah, just don't have it shining right on. Well, yeah, you got to do what you got to do for the green screen. All right, talk. Let me see.
All right, testing. 1, 2, 3. Test.
Are the lights adjustable by intensity?
I don't know. These ones aren't.
All right, let me see.
All right, testing, test. All right. I don't know what's going on behind me now. Actually, there we go.
Yeah, you can. We'll yeah, we can play with it later. But it looks good. It's just that if you had really bright light on you, it was kind of washing out your face.
Okay.
And yeah, because I turned mine way down. If I could play whatever. Blue green screen's pain. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using my Yeti mic too, so not the normal one. So I don't know how is it coming through sound wise.
It's kind of hot, but that's me. I can turn that down. Okay, count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Let me. Oh yeah, I didn't have the camera on you anyway, so they didn't get to see your underwear.
Oh.
Sucks to be them. Okay. All right, Donna's starting that. What time? Okay. All right, here we go.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. Undefeated here on Declare Your Independence. I'm Ernest Hancock here in Phoenix, Arizona. From the BEAU default studios of Freeze with an S, Phoenix.com. Well, my voice is getting back. Well, opinions vary. But, it's clearing up and so on. Cause freaking pollen. God, man, it's just, you're an athlete outside doing all your kind of crap, Tim. Are you affected by, pollen and allergies or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I had to, I sneezed quite a bit, and actually now my daughter calls the Palo Verdes the sneezy trees, because I told her that those are the trees that make me sneeze a lot, but it doesn't seem like it's too bad when I'm actually outside. It's more like when I come back in that everything flares up. But yeah, I've been taking some allergy medicine, some Loratadine, and it seems like that works pretty good. But my allergies have gotten a lot better since I moved here. I mean, I used to have to get allergy shots way back in the day, but I was also allergic to chlorine, and so being a competitive swimmer, not a very good thing to be allergic to. So
well, they're going to salt, water,
bromine,
kind of cleaning of pools and everything. It works a lot better. Tastes a little salty, but I don't know how it works, but it works, and it's a lot more pleasant, and it's on your skin and everything. We're made for salt water, or a little bit.
The Northeast, I mean, saltwater pools are few and far between. There's almost no saltwater pools in the
Really?
Northeast.
The first one I ever swam in was my brother-in-law in Norfolk, Virginia. He had got one installed, and I go, this is awesome. So I advocate for that. Lots of chemicals and I'd just assume to be salt. So what I want to talk about I know what I want to ask, but today, what's all the news and the goodies you think we need to know, Tim? I mean, lots of stuff happening.
There's so much stuff going on. I mean, you could talk about the China trade deal chaos. You could talk about Facebook banning and Instagram banning Alex Jones. You could talk about MasterCard actually has made the draconian threat to basically take right-wing voices' ability to pay using MasterCard, and the SEC actually granted them the blessing to go ahead and actually with that plan. But then you've got Joe Biden taking a big lead in the polls as well.
Do we believe that? I mean, is that something that we're I don't care. First it's Bernie's way ahead, then he's not, and he's down, he's up, and it's just I've been through this poll, crap before, and I don't care. I mean, the biggest thing is you look at who shows up, and you have Bill and Hillary up there for $2 tickets, and for a Trump rally, of course, it's free, but you have 5 gazillion people. I don't know how to judge this stuff because I don't believe these guys anyway.
Yeah, I think Biden has a lot better chance than what people, especially this audience and people want to give him credit for. Just reminding me, one of the main reasons Trump got elected was the alternative media. And what's going on right now in the alternative media is a complete silencing and shadow banning and censoring and kicking people off there. And just imagine how much people, especially myself and this entire audience, hated Hillary Clinton. I mean, as much as we dislike Joe Biden, I mean, Hillary Clinton, the hatred of her is on a whole nother level. And so there's a lot of people, including myself, that were very motivated to, expose all of her misdoings. Whereas with Joe Biden, a lot of the stuff you're going to get him on is going to be, groping other women and, hugging and getting too affectionate, which is, sort of like stuff that they can then try to accuse Donald Trump of as well. So, myself and Dr. Frank were very early on predicting Trump would be victorious. And I think Joe Biden has a very, very good shot. And who knows? I mean, they might try to steal it from Trump, but ultimately it doesn't matter because they're not doing anything with the Federal Reserve, which is the biggest single issue. If I was a single issue voter, it would be the Federal Reserve, and he's playing patty cake with them. And so ultimately it doesn't matter everything that he does. And I guess the other big news that's coming out is Trump's part of his tax returns from like 85 to I think it was 95 or 96 were released. And so everyone's saying, oh, this guy's such a loser and he lost, like $1.1 billion.
He goes, yeah, you know what? That means I didn't pay a lot of taxes neither. No.
Yeah, everyone wants to, say, that, hey, we need to bring it back to the 50s and 60s when the marginal tax rate was like 90 something, like 91% on the wealthy. But back then there were so many loopholes. I mean, nobody actually paid that tax rate. People were transacting in cash, so there was a lot of income that probably wasn't even on the books, and there was a lot of ways to game the system. But Trump didn't. But I think I saw James Babb actually comment. Maybe it wasn't Babb. Maybe it was Barry Hess about this is the perfect person to run the country. Someone that took something that was really far in debt, really went into the hole, and then ended up becoming a billionaire off of it. So here we are as a country, $22 trillion in debt, which obviously doesn't count Social Security and Medicare and everything else. But I guess maybe we can get into the China trade deal because it seemed like that has been the big news that has sort of been like rankling the markets.
Yeah. All right, be careful. You're tapping your thumb or hand on your desk or something that's coming through. He's trying he's got green screen and a new microphone and everything. You're getting all into this, man. You're being all geeky and everything. How's your studio coming out?
I've actually had all this stuff. I was just, I think I had the green screen up. I was just like, my normal background's good enough. I don't need to screw around with it. And then I had these cameras. So it's all equipment that I've had and actually my original mic. And then now I was just like, I don't like always being up next to the mic like you are. So I think I just wanted to test out a few different circumstances, because unfortunately some people do judge the quality of a presenter based on is he dressed up all fancy, does he have a nice background behind him, and all the other trappings. So I just wanted to kind of experiment, and I was too lazy to put the green screen back up, so leaving it out for a little bit.
Yeah, we made a green screen for back here for my son-in-law to do some videos, different things that he does, and I'm going, yeah, I might do that. It's just like work, man. We're doing like 3 hours a day. Get over it. But it's
Zoom makes it incredibly easy to go on a green screen. Like you press 2 buttons and you change your background. Super easy using Zoom. Super
all right,
easy.
You got to help me out. Well, I got this gazillion-dollar switcher here that does we play with and do whatever. I'm more about the quality of the content, and there's going to be a new mission. I mean, as time goes on and all this media goes away, you have a Salt Lake City main newspaper there is getting approval from the IRS, of all people, to be a nonprofit community newspaper. Now, how would that even work? I'm sure it can, but if you got donors, and God forbid the government, doing this. You're not going to be pissed. You're going to be somebody's newspaper is what's going to happen. A commercial one is just as bad, and it's whoever your advertisers are. Here in Arizona, the newspaper was run by, you don't diss the developers. Anybody that was, building homes or doing whatever, and they were developing and got, real estate kind of that, not them, and the car dealerships, big car dealerships. Now, all these are starting to wax and wane, man. They're starting to go away. Well, who's going to dominate in the future? Then we see this other story we were reading to where you want to make money, become a government employee. Government employees make more than the private sector and entrepreneurs on average. I'm going, of course, this is the beginning of the end. This is how stuff happens. So I'm just wondering, we talked to Chris Duane in the first hour, Silver Shield. He's all about silver, and he's getting shadow banned. They start ban that you got to click on it. It buys it. You don't watch this. Don't watch this. Or, okay, click here. Then you can't. It's disabled to where you can't embed. You can't share. You can't comment. You can't. It's kind of there, but it's not really there, and you sure as hell can't share it other than the link. This is it's rampant everywhere across the internet, and I'm wondering how Tim feels about it. Some of the people that he's interviewing and the stuff he does. We'll be right back.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that...
Yeah, I haven't finished watching this Kokesh thing on Weld. What up with that?
Well, I think it's everything that you were talking about. That's all a ploy to, both of them can tag team Trump from both angles to get Democratic money.
Yeah, no, I could see that coming, but I'm just wondering what his. I didn't finish watching it, but he's saying, Weld's a good guy because does he say that we're getting Democratic money, or just say, gosh, he's a hell of a human being and a humanitarian, or what's he? Why?
I think his angle is he's trying to make it seem like he's taking the high road, and he was, in his youth, aka, a few months ago when he was trashing Bill Weld, that it wasn't the mature thing to do, and we should be grateful people like Bill Weld coming over the party, and we should treat them better.
What do you mean coming over? He's running as a Republican against Trump.
Exactly. I mean, if he was going to do this, you think
he was here. He went to meet with the operatives and so on last Monday, I think it was. He was here and he said something about it, and I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it. We had a nice visit and kind of, and that's just dumb. All right, we're back. All right, all right. You caught us talking over the break. What's happened is Adam Kokesh is here in Arizona. I see him on a regular basis, and we get along fine. And I don't go through all the ouch quit it crap on. I don't care. And so he went to the Colorado State Convention a couple weeks ago, and so going in and out of airports and friends and staying over and stuff. And he was here and he was talking about, Bill Weld, we're gonna work together. We're gonna attack Trump from two sides, kind of try to tag team of why. What do I care? I never run against anybody. I'm for something, and for something that whatever he thinks he's going to benefit out of this run in 2020 and make it nice with Weld. I don't trust that son of a bitch one little bit. Anytime I ever talk to him, whatever he's done, it's always been, bam, It's a lie. He's a politician. And he's doing it for whom? He's a cancel foreign relations affiliation is freaking enough right there, but he just proves it every chance he gets. So I'm not digging it. We do something in 2020. I'm thinking of doing something. We got to do something, maybe an initiative or something. This smart city thing it needs to come out. But I tell you, when you're doing any of the kind of investigative reporting and things that are really going on, and a lot of the economic stuff that you do and such, they don't want that out. They're shutting it down. They're turning it off. Duane had some really good stuff. He's going, they're going to try and lie us into another freaking war. We don't have enough war going on. We don't have enough bombs being exploded. We got to get the bomb factories going. So we got Venezuela and or Iran. Can you imagine both? I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Who are these people in charge, and how does it affect the stock market and the financial markets? And that's where you come in. Because I'm going, these treasury sales, went up and everybody's running away. Is the dollar, its end is nigh? What's going on?
Well, paradoxically, I actually think the dollar will get stronger in the initial phase of all this because, people are always doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. And so the wrong thing would be to jump to the dollar. But, since this whole world doesn't operate on a vacuum, if stock prices are going down, then people might flood money into bonds. They might flood money into dollars. And so temporarily it might be a wise move to make. But then the same people who were mainly that will be a move out of panic. It won't be because people were speculating correctly. But then those same people that were panicking will not have the correct probably impetus to then go into other assets that maybe they should, like gold or Bitcoin or precious metals or even some stocks. Because what I can show you guys right now is actually I'll just say it. So what I'm looking at now is share prices since 9/11, and it says this is the real reason we're in constant war. It's a meme, so who knows if it's correct. But it says Lockheed Martin went from $38 to $333, 865% gain since 9/11. Raytheon, 754% gain. Northrop Grumman, 714% gain. Boeing, 547% gain. General Dynamics, 439% gain. And Honeywell, 481% gain. So those are the big boys. I've only been to Washington, D.C. a few times, but, you're going in there and you see the big, Raytheon buildings and General Dynamics and the military industrial complex. But what, gets me is that, these same companies are trying to, wrap themselves in the American flag and talk about how, patriotic they are and how pro-America they are. And then even the technologies that they develop, we then, turn around and give them right to China, or you've got, the Clintons who give away the missile secrets over to the Chinese. And so at the same point, we've got to spend all of this, S-load of money to, develop all these weapons, when we then give all these weapons out to all the people who then end up using the weapons against us. But then that then creates a need for us to create even bigger and better weapons that then creates this whole self-fulfilling prophecy and cycle of, violence. And, and I guess, back before I considered myself an anarchist, that, I would, people would think, oh, well, why do you need the government? Well, the main reason you need the government is to protect yourself against the other governments. And so, but it's, at the end of the day,
while you're supplying them with arms.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. But it seems like right now the big thing everyone is talking about is the China trade deal. I think the China trade deal is absolutely immaterial. I don't think that anything that will come out of it will even matter. There was the the NAFTA deal that we re-engineered, and now it's called the USMCA. And they just changed a few things around the edges, around the periphery, made a very few minor changes. And it went from being the worst deal in the history of deals to now Trump is out saying it was the best deal in the history of deals. So I think it'll be the same thing with China. Apparently what they did is they reneged on a 150-page document, and they made a ton of edits, and basically the edits took out all the teeth and basically didn't obligate them to anything. And because of the laws in China, it really wouldn't have mattered. And so now Trump is like, we need to change their laws, and China's like, well, we can't change our laws because it's a lot more difficult than just a stroke of a pen, I guess, as Obama would say. And so I don't see any actual benefit. I think because every time they keep saying we're close to getting a trade deal, the market keeps going up, up, up. It's gone up, a ton over the past 2 years of this continual, we've got a deal, we almost got a deal, we almost got a deal. But, then the average person sees, okay, well, now the market's at an all-time high, so things are going great. But actually, the Dow Jones is actually right now lower today than it was in January of 2018, so a year and a half ago. But the average person doesn't know that, and so they just, or maybe it breaks above that threshold, the tiniest incremental bit, and then it goes down. But then we start this whole process over again. So every time the market gets up high enough, it gives Trump the wiggle room to then, act tough on Twitter. But his entire strategy is basically the opposite of Teddy Roosevelt, where it was walk softly and carry a big stick. I mean, we've got no stick and talking as loud as possible. I mean, it's the exact opposite strategy. And who knows how it's going to end. But I think that it's a buy the rumor, sell the fact. And I know Peter Schiff has talked about this a lot. And so people have been buying this whole rumor of a trade deal. But, another thing that I see, another meme that I've seen going around is people are saying, hey, Kroger, which is a big grocery store in the South, they stole $8,000 from me last year. And so with this whole, I lost $8,000 at the grocery store last year, which is saying, when Trump says we lost $600 billion to China, it's that they were selling us their crap cheaper than we can get it anywhere else. And so because they were selling their stuff on sale, that now, they're the bad guys and we got to target them. And we then have to impose tariffs on them, which then raises prices to the American consumers, which then will then increase the threat of inflation, which will then cause the Fed to have to then raise rates, which the raising of the rates is the whole thing that Trump was bitching about in the first place. So this whole, it's like this, if you tinker with something over here, you're going to mess up with something over there, and you try to plug that hole, and you create all these other holes.
Freedom's the answer. What's the freaking question? This is exactly what I'm talking about. These are not issues when you have freedom of the individual to compete. The problems that we have here in this country are all the taxes. Of course, they want to have buy it more from here. They get a bigger cut. And if they don't get a cut from the income of the tax on different layers of transactions between, from wholesale to retail, then it goes to China. So we need to do a tariff, and in the end of it, we're all paying more for stuff anyway, and it's just jacked up. None of this works. It's always the free market of free means free. Not like $3, like freedom.
Are you tired of governments around?
Yeah, I'm an optimistic kind of guy, and I think the people will come out of this fairly quickly, if left alone. I mean, it could be 6 months, 2 years, and all of a sudden freedom reigns, and we're going into a new era of, Jetsons. But that's rarely how it comes out. Maybe there'll be some country that will be the beacon of leave you aloneism, and everything floods to there until the banking system wants to explain it to them. Then they go, screw you, we're going to our own crypto or something. Screw you, we got a bomb. I mean, there has to be there's going to be a renaissance. It's like it's going to be 100 years in the future, and we're going to look back at the now time and go, yeah, that's when it broke. That's when it happened. That's when it came out, and all the vulnerabilities, all of this enormous sovereign debt, and then the people understood what was happening, which is why they have to shut down the viral component of all this information, which is why, and I told Chris Duane, I'm going, look, man, he's ready to give it up, and kind of when I get done, I did my bit, and I'm over here, and everybody's going to know anyway. And I'm going, IPFS, you want to save all your video, you want it scraped over and kind of at least accessible, the chronology of what happened, where and how, and that you called it. So I'm seeing that going. I did get, for some reason, it just happened that yesterday, Rob from InfoWars joined Telegram or my thing or something. Anyway, it came up, and I'm going, oh, that's the guy I had the number for, and I just couldn't find it in my phone. So I go into, and I sent him the same things that I sent Alex on this stuff. I don't know if he's still with him or not, but
he is, because I was listening to the show the other day, and he was talking about how he's in a producer meeting with Rob, and this was like maybe Friday's show.
Okay, so I telegrammed him. So it's like they know on several vectors. Oh, here, I got to respond. Maybe he did. Let me see. Thank God we have Insta to fact check memes like the what? All right, so he's so at least he's okay. So he responded. All right, so they know now. One less thing I got to worry about. So I don't know how much responsibility I have to go save these guys. At least now I know they know, so I'm good. I did my bit. But I think Alex there's other issues going on there. There's something else. I think they created such an empire, and a sales team and a force and you have to, when they start coming after your money like this to this degree, you have to cut. Boom, 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 or you get from somewhere else or so. I don't know. I don't know their mechanism, but I know they count on a lot of sales because I got on the email list somehow. Man, I'm getting a bunch of crap from Alex Jones, I'll tell you that. And but it's not really news or anything. It's selling some product that's going to, make my penis better or something, So I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't know when the super awareness is going to hit. It's going to be boom. It's over. It's time to get fixed, or there's a revolution in information or tech or something. I don't know. I'm feeling that it's suppressed, and the only people doing it are the ones that just do it. The fact that we showed that you could do it is, I don't know what else it needs to do other than I just ignore them, don't care, and we just keep doing it. But I don't know how this is going to play out. Are you hearing things of revolution, civil war, disobedience? I mean, they're certainly setting up the grid to catch you.
Yeah, I mean, it was, Paul Warburg who said it best that, we shall have a one world government. It's only a matter of consent or conquest. And right now they're trying to take people that were very effective in all this, like Alex Jones.
The Ernest Hancock Show.
Yeah, we're back. We're yakking right into the thing. Hello. Go to the stream. You go to the stream. We have Twitch, D-Live, YouTube, Facebook, kind of live stream of the stream.
D-Live is now back. I'm not really sure what happened with it, but I emailed their support, and they fixed it in like a second. So
that was interesting. D-Live is that, come over for D-Live, and then all of a sudden our feed went down. And then you log in, you couldn't, there was some weird thing happened to really, the fact that it could happen to D-Live is of interest, because I thought they were going to be the ones to bypass all this crap. And that's interesting that you got them to fix it. I'm just wondering how it got broke. Did they give you any?
Well, the initial back and forth of the email was like, hey, yeah, no, his channel's there. I don't know what the problem is. Why don't you go look at it again? I go, yeah, his channel's there, but did you try clicking on it? Click on it, and you'll see that it brings you to a link that says channel's not there. And the guy goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Let me fix it. And boom, 2 seconds later, he fixed it. So I don't know what what was going on with it, but I don't think there's any like secret Illuminati.
No,
crazy stuff going on.
it just demonstrates that you have to be diverse. You can't count on any one thing, even DLive, And DLive has really been for quality streaming, alternative of, and kind of, I'm not even sure, it doesn't even, create a file or anything. It's just live streaming thing. All right, okay,
It stays on for, I think, for 2 weeks or for 30 days, or maybe if you pay something, it stays on longer. So that's why you got to have the IPFS where it pins a file and you don't lose it. Because it's not the forever and always. It's the, hey, I'm saying something about something, right, and you get a notification to your phone. And I'd rather do it through DLive than Twitch, because we're doing it at both, but I'd rather promote DLive.
Yeah, Twitch is Amazon. So I'm like, next, and then we're on Facebook, but just to say, hey, we're over there. And then the YouTube to say, hey, and we're over there. Because I'm not investing anything. Yeah, they want to put it up. All right, fine. Until when? Until they don't. Okay, I don't care. We've been waiting for this time. They have somewhere to go. Well, what happened is Derek Slopey from Agrist Hosting, our IT guy, he had done everything he could to make sure that the Corbett report was on IPFS, and it rock and rolls, and he got his own server, did command, woohoo, that'd be a rocking and rolling. And then we were kind of experimenting on different ways of doing it with Freedom's Phoenix and Pirates. So now he's got Freedom's Phoenix is working well again, and then Pirates, I don't know, he's working on it today or something. So we're still experimenting. A lot of this is, this is amazing what we've been able to do, and I keep yakking about this to people. Whatever that was. I've been going after this a lot because I know what's coming. The 2020 election cycle, they're going to be shutting down, and you're not allowed, and it can't go viral, and we said. So then what? I think we may need a campaign. An actual political campaign. Is it going to be a candidate, or do we just do an initiative and use like the smart city thing or something as the platform and say, look, here it comes. It'd be like, I can see the memes, the government, is the plug in the back of your head, and your matrix port is your, NSA approved information access portal or some crap. This, what do you think is going to happen in your young life of being so involved in social media and what you're doing? What do you see is happening or going to happen?
Well, I think eventually there's going to be one day where you're going to find out everybody is over here. They're off of Facebook, but unfortunately it's so ubiquitous and it's such a drug, myself included, that it's hard to break. But I am trying to make the moves to get off it and do on something else, because there is a lot of and actually I just saw right now, just by speaking to the devil, Adam Kokesh just sent a message out saying, this is a Facebook post, do you have any rules for yourself on Facebook that work for you to minimize the harmful social and psychological effects that are working for you? So who knows? Because I think that Facebook does keep you in these echo chambers, and they do things to deliberately to piss you off. And and now, maybe a lot of your listeners probably realize this, but right now they if you talk about Alex Jones in a manner that is not condemning him, you can get kicked off Facebook. So what people are doing now, because the AI isn't good enough to actually interpret memes and interpret sarcasm, so people are like, screw Alex Jones, and definitely don't go and check out his latest article exposing this because it's terrible. Yeah. And so that's what's going on. Or maybe you'll see memes in the future, like, don't censor me, bro, instead of like the don't tase
maybe
me.
You won't see memes.
Or maybe they'll be there. You just won't get to do this. This is
the one thing that I always said. The hope that I had was they go, well, education doesn't work. Hell, it doesn't. It does exactly what they want it to do. And so my hope is that it took trillions of dollars and generations to screw with our minds enough to be able to get away with as much as they do. But it took that. It took enormous amounts of resources. And then when social media came out and people can just share the truth about it, they go, damn, we got to stop this. So the oppression, the authoritarianism just gets more and more and more. And then finally you just bring out the dragons. So I just, at some point it cracks, it breaks, and then it starts all over again.
Speaking of dragons, Game of Thrones, not trying to give away like any spoilers or anything, but if you haven't seen it now, But with Game of Thrones, it was a very libertarian type episode. I think the last few episodes where it was all talking about, Jon Snow was talking about not wanting to rule, and so and then you got all these other rulers fighting for who's got the, you know, the magic keys or who's on the throne and then, you know, there's all these other, I guess this part is a spoiler, but, you know, there's all these other scenes coming together where Cersei Lannister was going to use basically her people as cannon fodder. And then Daenerys, the dragon queen, you know, she was like, well, you know, Cersei, if you just give up now, we're not going to have to kill all your people. And so at the end of the day, you know, we're ruling over, you know, who's going to use this as cannon fodder. And so I think that, you know, you can take, you know, pretty libertarian aspect from the last Game of Thrones. And what you see is that it is pop culture, something that Dr. Frank talks about all the time. It is the public opinion, which is something you talk about all the time. That is what they want to control. And when they realize that, hey, they've got nobody watching CNN anymore besides, you know, airports and gyms, then they realize that they've lost control of the narrative. And so now to get it back, they need to censor anybody that isn't a complete communist. And I just did see some good news that it was CNN laid off over 100 people, except they're not calling it a layoff. They're calling it a buyout. And so I did a video yesterday on World Alternative Media where I did the whole Brian Stelter voice reading his tweet yesterday. So some people like that. And so we do, and yeah, if you guys want to check it out, we've got 10, I posted 10 videos since the last time I've been on air. So we've got a whole bunch of ones on crypto, a whole bunch of ones on the economy. So if you guys want to be, actually I did one where I went through like every single Russian ad from basically May 2016 right up through the election. And probably 80% of them were pro-Hillary ads or Black Life. A lot of them were Black Lives Matters ads that were pro-Black Lives Matters. But those were the evil Russian memes, because I have the actual Russian memes from the White House or from the house.gov website that you can't find them now, but, you know, I've got them. Maybe that's something that we can try to put over there in IPFS of, hey, you know, because they're going to try to remember. It's so embarrassing, the ads. I mean, first off, the memes aren't even that great. They're pretty crappy. And there was like, okay, this guy spent, you know, $6 US dollars, the equivalent of rubles, to go post some crappy ad, and that's supposedly what, you know, swung the election.
Yeah.
So, and I saw Hillary came out again the other day and mentioned that you know, the election was stolen from her. So I'm like, oh God, let me just vomit now.
This is, you know, yeah, and they're paying people to come sit in the auditorium and listen to them. But the I saw on the Drudge Report right now, drudge.com, and it's changed. The formatting just changed from like an hour ago, and a bunch of stuff is stripped off of it. And what I was looking for, there was a story that half of Facebook accounts are being purged or deleted as fake. You know, and I remember they went through this purge with Twitter. You know, it's just all these bots and fake accounts and all this. These guys are done, man. I don't see this. And there's always the Facebook killer social media app of whatever, but it's the same thing. They're still going to be controlled by somebody with a gun who's going to tell them what they got to do. Until you can get away from that, it's never going to change. So we're getting away from that, even if we're years early.
The new fourth.
Years early. You know, this is one thing that I've always noticed is, you know, I've always been way ahead. You know, I'm the smartest son of a bitch, you know, 3 or 4 years later. But that one thing, it used to be like, you know, less than 10 years. Then it got down to like 5 years. Then it's like 3 years. Now it's getting like 18 months. It's just a cycle. When you notice something, it comes around much faster because you're in that exponential curve thing to where there's so much technology and ability and people that know. And it really, the Malcolm Gladwell book, David versus Goliath, I think it was, or Outliers. It was one of those two. They were kind of, you know, companion books. But the point he was making is when you got 10,000 hours on something, and the reason Gates and Steve Jobs were like the big boys coming out, they were the first, you know, group of smart kids that had access to computers and programming. They got the first 10,000 hours. If it wasn't them, it would have been 15 gazillion guys behind them. Well, now we're hitting the 10,000 hours on blockchain coding and crypto and all, you know. So I just see that we're kind of a little bit early. We got, you know, some of the leading edge of this technology, making use of it and demonstrating it. But with us doing that, I have been through this so many times before, is that whether, you know, we get credit or not and don't care, is that all of a sudden, damn, man, we better get on it because he's already doing it and we'll monetize another way a little bit, got some, boom. And then there it goes. Then you have the governments and some agencies or whatever. Hell no, we don't want these guys being able to be able to say this stuff. And who are we talking about? You know, the same people we talk about. Corbett, Duane, you, me, you know, Grove, Luke, you know, Josh, Dix. I mean, you know, I'm just going, this is it. This is the battle. They think the battle is 2020 and the election cycle and so on. No, that's just going to emphasize what the real battle was. It's ones and zeros, being able to send them and receive them. That's it. It's no more they want to make it more complicated than that, and it's not. Your comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, the 2020 election is going to be, you know, do we want to elect Biden to get us into war with Russia, or do we want to elect Trump to get us into war with Venezuela and Iran? I mean, it's like, those are pretty much our options at this point. But maybe we want to talk about, when we get back from break, about, I'm not sure, did you see that there was a hack over at Binance where they stole $40 million of Bitcoin? So 7,000 Bitcoin were stolen.
Yeah, this week. I mean, you know, it's always something. Anytime you have some central command, you don't have the keys of an exchange, and it's gone. I mean, it keeps happening over and over and over. I stopped paying attention anymore. Keep your private keys. Don't be stupid. You know, this is another, you're stupid. So, yeah, we talk about it. So
yeah, I saw someone's comment was, well, yeah, I'm starting to get really worried about Binance. I mean, should I take my funds off there and put them on Coinbase instead? So I'm like, oh, my God. Like, you know what you should do? You should just sell everything because you're too stupid to be in crypto. That's what you should do.
Well, that's, you know, these are good lessons. This is, I don't know if you saw this. You probably already know. We put it up, and it was last year. You know, this happened in, 16, 17 or something. You know Karpelis, right? You know, the guy, Mt. Gox.
I was the one that told you about that.
Oh, that he's had a PIA?
Yeah.
That freaking died. And, you know, Paul Puey back in 15 or so, 16, you know, he was the one pushing PI. Yeah, I know these guys are good guys. Yeah, they're good right up until Karpelis came in. So you just might as well just say, you know, he made a deal with the man to be the man's bitch or the man for something, you know, and he's paying back now. And PI, we're done. You know, it's of course it's all this stuff because it's always this stuff.
And he's even tied in with all the Ross Ulbricht. So, I mean, I really recommend people watch Railroaded at freeross.org to see. I didn't know, until I watched that, I had no idea how Karpelis was involved in all that as well. Or allegedly involved.
Yeah, no, there's so much. All right, here we come back.
Ernest Hancock.
One more time. All right, we're here with Tim Pachote. We got one more segment here, and then we're not going to be able to go long. He has to go, and I got to go, and we got going today. One of my granddaughters is, you know, going to be, you know, student of the month. It's their turn, and I'm just, you know, this is, well, some of these, you know, mean more than others, you know, depending on which school, but, you know, I like the bumper stickers, but, you know, my kid, you know, smarter than your student of the month, and he's homeschooled or some crap like that, you know. So I'm just not.
I saw one. It's like, you know, my son or my son or daughter is student of the month at some indoctrination center or something. Or
I mean, see, it's just it's starting to lose its shine. You know, it's like it's everybody's turn kind of thing. If you're not a super butthead kid or whatever, but of course our grandkids, you know, they're respectful, they're nice, they raise their hand, they learn to respect, you know, their teacher and their classmates, and kind of all of a sudden, oh my God, you're student of the month, at least if not this month, next month, or the month after, because damn, you're not a little terror and whiny little, you know. So what does it take? You know, and but we want to go and support it, so we're going to leave right after. It's like 45 minutes after the show, so I'm going to try and put up the full link of the whole show so you guys don't have to wait for that, and then I'll do all the other little stuff later. And
you guys can always get the replay too at DLive, and I mean I would say DLive would probably be the best, or Twitch, so you don't have to actually wait till you post it. If you're like really, really antsy, there are ways where you can get get the stream, but it's not the same. You're not gonna be able to get the MP3 of it until you post it, though.
Yeah. No, you can go watch the, you know, because it's recording and it's there, and there's a lot of different things. See, you know, whatever we make a big emphasis on and how to access the show or different things, it changes. I mean, the next month, that feature's not there anymore. Oh, Chris Duane, Story Never Told. Chris Duane is Silver Shield, that guy. I don't know if you know.
I heard him on your show once, maybe like 3 months ago.
He's been, for like 10 years almost, we've been doing this. And the reason he came across my radar screen, a lot of the listeners, he was saying the same things. The same things, and I don't know if you got it from us, we either like minds think or whatever, but same kind of phraseology and so we're compatible on our attitude towards. And he came from a family of New Jersey auto dealerships and warning this family the end was nigh and to get out, and they kind of black sheeped him and fine, take your money and go. Well, he bought a bunch of silver, it shot up to the moon, he made I told you, and now he's going, well, this next financial crisis is going to be big time more than the other one, just FYI. So he has some skills. He's done over 1,600 videos, and he does them himself, and he's really fast at it, and he gives some quality work. Well, he does this quality work out there. He's the very kind of person that they are banning the shadow banning. Of course, I see you could do this, and this. Well, they're doing all of them now. One, they're not suggested. If you had another similar one, you never show up on suggested, even though everybody else would automatically go to it previously. And you don't get the ability to have comments. And you can't even get the embed to share it and put it on the site anymore. So the only way that you'd be able to know that that's there is you'd have to either know it, be a subscriber, come across it, whatever, and share the link. So when we put his stuff on Freedom's Phoenix, we always put the embed of the video there. Can't do it. And then when you go to it, it says, warning, this is a unapproved sanction. We've said something. It's not offensive or anything. It says it may be offensive to some. To whom? Central banks? It's just wow. So this is the end.
Well, and it's even worse than that. That now they're beta testing this with Alex Jones. Where with Alex Jones, what they're doing is you aren't even allowed to share his links because the AI will be able to determine that. And so that he is the test case rollout for this. And so even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he's been doing in the past 2 or 3 years, I think it still is important to say that if we don't stand up for him, then then we're gonna be next. I already am sort of already there. It's basically it's my Facebook page that has 37,000 people following it is basically useless for me to post on unless then half the people that are commenting are probably bots anyways, or it's just getting people infighting all the time. And so mentally it's just something I couldn't handle anymore. So I almost never even post on there at all. I'm just something and if you go back to 2016, I was so optimistic of, hey, this is super easy, and I bet I can teach, like 100 other people to do this. If we had 100 other people also reaching millions of people, now we'd be way bigger than CNN, and then it's like, boop, nope, that gets taken away, and so that didn't last very long. I only had my.
Oh, gee, who was telling you that was going to happen?
To be fair, when I first met you, I had 1,776 followers, and then like a month later had 30,000, and then boom. So we did it in a 2-month time window, and I was in emergency arbitrage of let's make sure we defeat Hillary to give us some breathing room to develop things like IPS, develop things like all these blockchain technologies. And now finally Alex, as we talked about offline on Friday's show, is talking about, hey, I've sort of dismissed all these blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but because of I've started finding out that there's ways where we could actually beat censorship through blockchain, and we needed to discover what the best ways to do that are. It was just a quick, maybe 1 minute ditty on that. So at least, 3 months ago, he was saying how this is all awful and it's all a scam. Sort of sound like Tone Bays almost a little bit, but now, he seems like he has turned a leaf, and that's big because we need to have people in the broader liberty community coming together to understand this, because they think that it's all about, we're just going to vote our way out of this whole system. And, if we just, bend a little bit here and bend a little bit there, then, Trump's really going to take down the Federal Reserve, but you just got to give him some more time. And he's really going to pay down the debt, but you just have to have him explode the debt first. You just wait, you don't.
Yeah. Now, see, this is one thing that I remember. It was Vince Aprenowitz, the Las Vegas Review Journal editor, retired now. It comes on every now and then. He still has his own blog. I remember in one of his novels he wrote, was called The Black Arrow. in the end of it, kind of the Homeland Security character in this thing, towards the end, they were very tyrannical. They got all kinds of support from the government to really turn the screws in it. And in the end, you find out that this guy was really a freedom guy, and he knew what, was it Benjamin Franklin? You want to get rid of a bad law, strictly enforce it? Well, this is what he was doing. He was strictly enforcing let's get, and that, with the understanding that that was going to cause the pushback from the populace. That was his real intention, was to force the people, crank up that fire on the frog so that they don't get used to it. So it's so bad, you're going, are there some tech guys in here going, yeah, you want it? All right, fine. Wham! They're just shutting it down. And by doing that, are they creating an atmosphere that freedom may come out of this? No.
That's what you always say. It's what you always say. If I have to worry about what some regulator says, and it's the wrong tech, and so you've been saying this from pretty much from day one. But before we go, it's just important people hold on to their private keys. There's another hack, not another hack, but at Binance, I believe it was the first one at Binance. But some sophisticated hackers walked off with 7,000 Bitcoin. Either yesterday or 2 days ago. And I've seen some people comment on it. They're like, oh, well, now I'm scared to keep my money at Binance. Should I just keep it over at Coinbase instead? It's like,
what's the difference?
Let me smack myself in the face, because that person is not smart enough to be into crypto, especially, in 2019. Buy either do a paper wallet or Ledger or Trezor or Crypto Steel, something. Don't leave a significant amount of money, where you aren't controlling the private keys. And then a quick shameless plug: if you want to have a place where you can store your private keys within your own retirement account, I'm the guy that can do that for you. So head over to thelibertyadvisor.com. We can help you out with that. And
wait! I want to ask you a question about that. I go to thelibertyadvisor.com, talk to Mr. Tim Pachote, and I go, all right, I want to take my retirement, and it's going to go in the stock market. My 401 go to nothing. I want to make sure it's not nothing. And I go through you, and we got something. And then if there's some gains, then I get to keep my money, and I'm not paying a bunch of capital gains on, he'll set it up for you. But the question is, you get to have your private keys, but you're not putting them on an exchange. You're holding them somewhere, or they keep them, and it's theirs. Nobody can take them, right?
Yeah, you can if you want to be stupid and leave it on an exchange, you can do that. If you have we give you freedom. So, we'll give you the information to make good choices, and if you want to leave your money on Binance, then you can do that too, but we would recommend that you take it off of there and hold the private keys.
I know, is this a neon flashing example of Tim told you?
And then the same thing with Tether too. I came out with a video 3 months ago saying how I wouldn't touch Tether with a 10-foot pole, and people still have, it's probably still worth $1 billion, and it came out that they aren't backed, that they're only have a fraction of the money that they say they have, which means that they're like a regular bank. So they probably have more backing as a percentage than a regular bank.
Yeah, no, the worst is what, floats to the top when there's the floaters are, the bad guys, and they want to skim off because we're too dumb. Tim Pachote, thelibertyadvisor.com, and this show, pay attention. We know what's up. All right, there. Yeah, we both got to get going, so let's rock it. But, there's a lot more. I'm hoping, when does Frank come in again? When are we doing that? So he'll be on the second hour tomorrow. We got to set a day here directly. We're going to Hawaii next week, and so I'll be gone for a week and a half. But and these will repeat next week. But when I come back, I'd like to get you and Frank and Keith and Tarzan. We can just get everybody in and do a whole day thing again. Those are awesome shows, and it's sure as shit time now.
Well, let's try to so what would that be, like the week of the 27th when you guys are back from your trip, or is it the week of the 20th?
We come back, the 22nd, 3rd? We come back the 22nd. So that week, so like that Thursday or Friday or something. Donna, can you set it up in studio all day in the next week or two, or before we leave to go to, Fork Fest and, weddings, or after something?
Because then I head out to Florida on June 1st for a week. So let's do it obviously before then.
Yeah, so let's just try and set it up, and get Frank, his butt in, and Keith, and everybody. We just do it up, because there's so much stuff. And Keith, He's for grins and giggles. And then Frank, I know what his thing is. It's a cultural thing, but the culture that they're emphasizing here is just jacked up. I don't see this going well, and there's too much evidence that's going to get people pissed off. And of course, the left want them to rise up into a civil war kind of, and I don't think that's how it's going to go.
I mean, how much more evidence do people need? Another Keith that had a really good show on Anarchast. I'm not sure if you caught this, but Keith Knight was on Anarchast recently, and it was a really good episode.
About
Actually,
what?
Just about on everything, like running the gamut. I was walking my dogs when I was listening to it at the time, and just how he was presenting the information was just really funny.
All right, well, ask Keith to come on too. Let's get Keith, on soon, Donna, or maybe he can be part of the Trump thing. He'd probably, be of interest to Frank.
Yeah, well, Jeff was saying it was the most he's ever laughed during any one of the shows, and I don't know, it's just the way he was presenting stuff was just really kind of funny.
Oh, cool. Well, he's in the Valley here. He's come in the studio before. We'll get him in. We'll do a thing. Because I'd like to do a round table on. We can go long, whatever, do one of the old Trump reports. Because it's really See, what I'm seeing that's going to happen, the Civil War, the revolution, the outskirts, it's not going to be like the Levolution happened in the nice and sweet, and we're just, we want to emphasize and push for Dr. Paul's liberty stance, yada, yada, yada. It's going to be more of a real revolution where it's just, you actually accomplish or do something, but I don't think it's going to be violent. It's not going to go after him. It's just a walkway. It's kind of that, what was that Democrat thing? Walk away from the Democrat, what do they call it?
Yeah, I think they call it the walkaway movement, and then Facebook ended up banning the guy who created the walkaway movement.
Yeah, see? I mean, that's how they're going to do it.
And actually, the video where I made all those liberals all those feminists go away, the exact phrase I used was, and I have just caused over 100 feminists to just walk away. I'm like, I was the original walkaway person too.
See,
I
like mine.
I didn't know that. I'm like, I didn't know that until recently when I saw.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a walk away from it. It's going to be the still voting logo kind of thing. And so that's the emphasis that I want to do. But I do see that there's going to be goodbye and thanks for all the fish, a 2020 final of, we're done here in Arizona. And it may be an initiative or something like that on this smart city thing. Because this smart city thing is going to be, you're going to pay for it. There's going to be 15 gazillion more permits, taxes, and obligations than you got, and kind of whatever the hell. And they're going to create the surveillance system that we got to pay for because we love you, And it's going to be so bad that it needs to be emphasized.
And the beta test is in our own backyard, pretty much, with Bill Gates.
Right. So, I mean, how would I miss this one? I mean, that would be dumb. So, but I don't want to be the solution that we're going to try and fix it, because that's what they always do. They create the controlled opposition, and they go, it's not against the light rail system. When I first started interviewing these guys that were against it, really what they were doing is they were going, well, it better have, handicap this, and it better be, serve the poor section, it better this, and it better that. Come to find out, they were funded by the developers of the light rail. They created their own opposition. Well, it better have, well, gosh darn it, we're negotiating. We're going to do that for you, too. Vote for us. Okay.
That's how the Federal Reserve came into existence. It's J.P. Morgan owned all the newspapers at the time, and he came out with all these articles saying that this would be the worst thing to ever happen to the banks, when they realized that would be the reverse psychology needed to then allow the public to then buy into this.
Then allow the public to what?
When J.P. Morgan had his newspapers talk about how bad the Federal Reserve System would be, it was reverse psychology to get the average public person to say, "Oh yeah, the Federal Reserve System. This is great. It's bad for the bank."
Oh, because he was the banking guy that figured if he didn't like it, then they should like it or something. Yeah. Well,
I guess how Trump got elected too. The media and everyone
right.
I hated
the media. Yep. Well, this is so I'm 2020. I'm feeling an audit coming on. I mean, what do they do to me if I don't give a crap if they ban YouTube, Facebook? I don't care, and I'm over here. What do they do? They do what they always used to do, the old style of, and you're not audited. Oh, where's your permit? Oh, you didn't fill out your form right. So that's why I don't do corporations. I do sole proprietorship. I just like, this is how much came in, this is why I get the write off and we're done. Yeah, but you could have, and saved what? And been vulnerable how? I just, if you already know how bad they are, why are you like go onto their playing field by their rules and then beat you over the head with, by the umpire. So this is going to be interesting. I never say this before. I've been doing this 30 years, and now I go, this is the year. But I'm going 2020 election cycle. This is the year, not because it's any election cycle. It's just all the other stuff is built up to this, and it's done. There's going to have to be a reset of something, and I don't. And the only person that really sees this and kind of calmly walks you through it is like Ron Paul's Liberty Report. I mean, you got a lot of other guys that are, going, oh, this happened in this little tip. He's just going philosophy. He's going, yeah, because they can. They're going to do this and this and this, and then they're going to do that, and then it's done. And then what happens? He goes, well, I started buying gold and silver back in the 70s, so now what? So it'd be okay. Well, we'll go ahead and do that. I have Donna set that up. We'll have a full round table. We'll go get some because I'm feeling it coming. I want to get on record, All right.
It'll probably be almost that. You know what you should do? You should figure out what day is the anniversary of Trump walking down the thing, and then make that the Trump report date.
There you go. That'd be 4 years.
It's going to be either the end of May or beginning of June sometime. So let's see, Trump.
I think it was June. It was the first week of June, as I remember, or even July.
I think it was like the second. I think it was like the third week of June because my daughter was like a month old, and I just happened to be watching it live when it was going on.
Trump escalator.
I think it was like June 24th or something, or 17th.
No, it was 15.
15. No, of the date of the date.
Oh, okay. June 16th, 2015.
So almost exactly 1 month from the day my daughter was born. So, okay.
Yep. June 16th, 2015. You're watching them go down the escalator, which amazingly would look just like, a Simpsons thing. They predicted this.
Yeah.
It was, I'm Melania. She's like a big asset way more than people realize. And they see her as a threat too. And oh God, I really prefer not having to even talk or deal with this and just be, different. Just go out and do our own thing. But the stuff that these guys do, it just has to be highlighted because seriously.
Yeah, the Democrats are just talking about who's can be quicker to take the guns, and as you were saying, fine, go. You know what? Fine. We fought this hard. If you guys want to come and enforce your bad rules, go see what's going to happen when you try to go after 100 million gun owners in America. See how that's going to end for you, deep state.
All right, thanks for coming on, man. I gotta get going.
All right, later.
Peace.
Bye.